All right, all right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in live for another episode of Real Talk. But this is considered like a community town hall discussion. As you can see, we have several members of the community in attendance right now. Very, very appreciative of all of their times. We have ministers in here. We have people of the community. We have even our Amite mayor and Amite councilman here. As we get ready to get started, I'm gonna give you guys just a few minutes to log on live. And as you get logged on live, as soon as we come back from that, I'm gonna make sure that I get everybody a chance to introduce themselves, say their name and who they are, what they do, and what's the meaning or the reason for them being here in attendance today before we get started with our discussion. Everybody, if you're out there listening, just make sure you let me know whether or not you hear everything. Say something in your mics right quick. Just say testing 1, 2 or something. Y'all just let us know if y'all can hear everybody.
Microphone check.
Testing.
Testing.
See, I hear it too. Y'all come on in. Y'all grab a seat. Got seats over here, another chair. Everybody hears real well? Everybody hears well? We'll let this play for just a second. We're getting ready to get started. All right. Thank you guys that just joined us. Appreciate having you guys here, man. Very, very important discussion that we want to have on today. Again, for those who just walked in, we just want to get down to the nitty gritty, what we can do about the black on black violence in our communities. And aside from that, just do some motivational things that we can do to kind of help change the direction of our youth, especially our young men and women. But the age range, man, it can vary all the way from 8 to 25 or something, to be honest with you, because they all are affected. But we're just gonna try to have a good open discussion. Grown people, man, grown men, we're at the barbershop. No profanity, but other than that, we're gonna have a good open dialogue. And we're gonna have people that's gonna probably be commenting live or asking questions live. When I get a chance to get to those questions and comments, I will do that for you guys. Before we get started, though, I want to make sure we open up with a word of prayer. And I'm going to ask Pastor Johnson to lead us in a word of prayer. And then we're going to get started with our discussion.
Father God, we thank you this day, Lord. We give you praise, honor, and glory for what you're doing, Lord. We ask that you will continue to allow us, Lord, to be here, to come together, Lord. We ask that you will allow our minds to gel, Lord, and let our hearts be receptive to the words that we're speaking today, Lord. And Lord, give us solutions, Lord, to all the problems that we face, Lord. And I ask that you will bless and give us all traveling grace, Lord, and those that are on their way, those that are streaming live, Lord. We thank you right now for them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for that. As we get started, and we at the beginning of it, I'm going to make sure that we get a chance to introduce ourselves, starting with those at the table first. And we have an open chair for whoever wants to catch this on the table, because everybody's going to be able to talk. This is just a setup. I just set it up in this manner because there's only so many people that can sit at the table, but everybody here going to have opportunity to speak if they have something to say. Somebody wants to sit at this chair, they very welcome to do so. Without further ado, we're going to start at the table. We're going to start on my left, which would be your right for the viewers. And we're going to come around the table this way. And then from the table, we'll go all the way from that bench coming around and let every one of these fellas in here introduce themselves, the purpose of them being here today, and just kind of what they want to get from today's discussion. So without further ado, we're going to start right here with our councilman.
I'm going to pass the honor to our mayor first. Let him go, then I'll go.
Go ahead, no problem.
I'm Walter Daniels, mayor of the town of Amite City. My purpose for being here is basically to listen and try to bring the community together. And if I listen at all the comments and we can come together, and I feel like that we can move forward with our youth, because as you know, we have so much destruction right now with our youth, and it's time for us to step up and be men and do something about it.
Thank you.
So that's my purpose.
Awesome.
Councilman Chris Hart, District 1. I'm here to see what I can do on both sides of the equation. You know, I'm also from a single parent, so I know how it is to struggle. I've done some of the wrong that a lot of these kids are doing. So I want to help on both sides of the equation, from the city perspective, see what we can do, and from the growing up in the industry, in the streets as from a single parent. That's what I want to do today. Awesome.
Pastor Lionel Johnson, Way Truth Life Ministries, here in Amite. Grew up here in Amite. As the councilman said, we were in those streets here in Amite. We did things that we were not proud of, but at the end of the day, someone came and showed me love. Someone came and gave me an opportunity, and by the grace of God, we made it out. So that's what we want to do. That's my purpose here. My purpose is to be able to get with a group of men and go out and spread hope, faith, and love.
Awesome. Of course, myself, my name is Horace Martin, and I'm co-host of Real Talk with Martin and Gordon. Community guy, man, founder of Amite Alumni United, founder of Operation I Care, owner of Mirage Hair Solutions, barbershop and salon here in Amite, Louisiana. You know what I do. It's very important to me. You know my grandfather, then you know the legacy, and it was passed on throughout the family. So I guess it hit me, man. So I'm here. I'm always going to be one of those fellas in the community that's going to try to do something to make a difference, and a positive difference. And that's what I'm here for today.
My name is Vernon Gordon.
Give him that mic. Give him that microphone. Turn it on.
My name is Vernon Gordon. I'm native right here in Amite, Louisiana. I'm just here to be supportive of all of us getting together, being united, bouncing off each other's ideas, trying to be supportive of our mayor and our councilman, and come together as a city.
Awesome.
My name is Dylan Perkins. Formerly grew up in Amite, Louisiana. Now I stay in Hammond, Louisiana. I'm here just to show these guys some support, especially coming from a single parent as well. And actually, I used to be an at-risk kid in these streets. So, like Pastor Johnson said, it was by the grace of God that I found my way out. And I can tell a lot of people that I really didn't start living until I started getting God or doing what God wanted me to do in this world.
Amen. It's great.
My name is Derek Taylor. I'm a young man in the community. Want to get together with all you guys to make change, make sure everybody, we get on task to find a solution to the problem and help people understand the value of our community and the potential we have to grow.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you.
Arthur Dickie Boy McGee. I'm still in the trenches, and I'm here to support these fellas. I want to make sure this is groups be what they say it is. Still, it's real talk.
That's
I'm
right.
out there in the trenches, and I know what's really going on.
That's right.
So make sure y'all got understand falsely informed of what's really happening.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
My name is Roger Jackson, also a member of the community. I'm here today. We had been talking a while about
That.
making a positive change in the community. So that's what
Just
really
raise it
about.
up.
I have kids growing
The
up.
little handle, but
Just trying to
the
lead the
handle.
way for them.
Tilt it up. There you go.
That's it.
Thank you. All right. Now you could put it. Make sure it's right. There you go.
My name is Michael Morris, also here in local community, here to support the efforts that these gentlemen have set forth. A member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We have 4 pillars that we stand on: MSPU, manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. I see these guys are living that, true examples and breathing it, and hopefully there's some good that could come of this meeting, and some good solutions to provide to the youth moving forward.
Thank you, man. Awesome.
Good afternoon. My name is Walter Warren. Born and raised here in Amite, Louisiana. Back to try to make sure things continue to go the right way. So y'all got my support on whatever it takes to get things started. Make sure these young men know the truth, not what somebody say. Just make sure everybody got their head on straight. And we're gonna start this thing off, and like I said, you got 100% of my support right here in Amite, Louisiana. No matter what we do, we just need to get it together.
Thank you. I got an extension cord in my truck, but I ain't. Roger. Back of my truck. My bad. Back of my truck.
All right.
Lift it up. It got
My name
orange
is Quinn
extension
Warren.
cord.
I was born
It's sitting in the
also
back of
born
the
and
truck.
raised here in Amite, Louisiana. I left here. I graduated high school and I left. I went to the Army. It's been going about 30 years, but I moved back last year. But I'm no stranger here. I was home almost every year, so I too am here to just see a change, or a change here in Amite, and let's move forward and show these young men how to be men, how to find a solution to their problems and not take it to violence. There's always a better solution. We did it when we was younger,
plug it up.
and we made it. We still here,
plug
and we can show them this better solution and just uplift this community and give my 100% support to everyone that's trying to make a change here.
Thank you. All right, he's gonna plug it up so he can hear you.
Yes, sir.
He got you now. Give him the mic now. You can move. You can pull it over further now. You got it. You good?
My name is Pastor Wardell Dyson III. I'm a pastor of Redemption Outreach Ministries in Kentwood, Louisiana, but I'm born and raised Amite, Louisiana. Just want to come here to support, do whatever I have to do towards the change, and just want y'all to know that y'all got my support 100%.
Amen. Thank y'all, man. Thank you guys for that wonderful introduction. Before we get started, I wanted to show the fellas in here a short video, probably about 3 minutes long. Many of you guys may have seen it on my Facebook page this week. And this particular story is about a stepson who asked his stepfather to adopt him. Now, this is a stepson and a stepfather, but we can go another step further. Some kids don't have either. So imagine when you're a mentor to a kid that don't have either, how they gonna feel about you. So I want y'all to watch this, because this is the core of what we're trying to do. This is why we're here today. If you might be able to see it on mirrors. If you can't, if you want to move around, just.
As we all stay home, don't forget to stay active, stay cuddly, stay distanced, stay healthy, and stay comfortable. At Skechers, we know you have a lot of work worries. Our machine washable, comfortable shoes shouldn't be one of them. To find the most styles and best values, visit Skechers.com.
Alright, y'all, so today is Father's Day, and you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be my Father's Day gift to my dad. So, dear Dad, man, where do I start? I love you with everything in me. You're my dad, my father, my OG, my mentor. Man, you're everything to me but my guy and my mother. I thank God that you met my mom and did not give up on her or me. It takes a different kind of man to accept the responsibility that you did. You came into my life when I was wanting some change. If it was not for you, I promise you, I'd either be in jail or dead. You saved my mother and I. You blessed me with a happy life and 4 of the best siblings I could have. Since day one, you never left my side. Even when I got out of line, you never gave up on me. Wow. This next part, I just want to say a few words. Okay. It's a lot of this all I could type, but it's a lot of stuff that I just can't put into words. It's times when I felt like I just didn't have nobody there. It's like you was always there. Even my mama couldn't make you was always there, bro, man. Stuff you didn't even have to be there for, stuff I didn't even think nobody would come to, times where I just needed somebody to talk to, you was there. Not to throw no shots or nothing like that, but you all I got. It's like, you my father at the end of the day, so. Alright, so I'm ready to say this, and I want you to adopt me as your own. I have, along with everyone else, seen you as my father and the #1 male role model in my life. Now you adopted me, you also become my legal father in the eyes of the law. You have earned all credibility for the man that I have become.
Oh, man. Oh. Whoa, man, that was powerful. Oh my God.
It won't be you, I won't be the man that held her. It won't be you, I won't be the father that held her. It won't be your brother, sister, man. You ain't me what held. I would. We just don't know when you were more influential than me, I was for you, but
What's the answer to the question?
hell yeah. Man, this one, man, this mean,
It's the only way I feel like I could have taken my life. It ain't nothing else I could have done to give you what you made.
I'll be honored to give you my last name, man. I'll be honored for you to be able to say me in legal. That's right.
And that also makes you my legal.
Now, you know, if we ain't tell you nothing, y'all got it. You got it, man. But that it's hard still to watch it. And I've seen it about 5, 6 times. I'm a father and a stepfather. And you really don't never really, I mean, you just do what you do. You don't really be thinking about it. But someday, one of these young men or women that you know, trying to model for, they may tell you something that might be similar, might not be quite those exact words. But even when they don't say those words, they're what you are. And imagine the kids in the community that don't have either one. And it's sad to say, but some of them don't have anybody that they can look to say that this is my male figure. If you ask kids today who their role models are, back in the days when I was growing up, most people would say something about either their father, grandfather, and then they might get into stuff like firefighters and Superman and stuff like that. But when you ask young kids today, it's like it's very, especially in our urban communities, it's not as common as you think it should be for them to mention father, grandfather, uncle, or somebody like that. They always go to some rapper or somebody on TV or some celebrity that they look up to first, and then they might come back to somebody like that. But so that says one or two things. One of them that we dropped the ball somewhere, possibly, and the other one is that the role models that the media is providing for our children, we gotta find a way to dilute that some kind of way. We can't just let that be all that they get and all that they see and all the behavior that they want to model themselves after. So I had a question, and this is a question for anybody in the room, and several people can answer the question or just whatever you feel about the question. You know, I'm 43, so I feel like my age group, somewhere probably between 35 to 46, 7, something like that, is one of the last groups that had that true community vibe of upbringing. I'm talking about where people really did raise you in the community, where it really mattered if somebody up the street called your mama on you, because what they was gonna get on the other end of the line was not gonna be something that was gonna support you. It was gonna always be something supporting the community fabric. Even if your mom or father or grandmother did not always believe the exact story that was given to them over the phone, they never let you see that. They always responded in a manner that would let you know that you don't have any authority to try to tell me nothing about or against an adult. Now, once they get to the side, they might talk one-on-one with that person and say, you know, I don't know, they don't seem like my son, but you never heard it. But today, you know, we always are very confrontational when somebody is giving constructive criticism about our children. So the community vibe of it, the community village aspect of it is gone. So I just want to pose a question to the room. Do you guys feel that it's something that we did, whether it was directly, indirectly, to drop the ball? You know, and if you care to elaborate on that, please do so. I'm talking about us men in here. We vary from ages. I got my son in here, he's 13, all the way up to the oldest person in here may be 50 something or 60 something, possibly. I'm not sure. I don't want to put nobody age out there, but I'm just telling you it's a wide range of men in here. So anybody just chime in on that. Is it something? Do you feel that we dropped the ball somewhere?
I'll respond first. I think the main situation in this is the older gentlemen that were 65 and older took the time out to teach us younger gentlemen. When we got in society and of age, we chose to take care of our family and not give back to the community. We had to go out and work, which required us not to be here as much. Back then, they had jobs that was here where they could still provide for their families. Coming up, I'm 47. In my era, if you wanted to make decent money, you had to hit the plants, which means you had to travel. And from now on, it's been a legacy of, you want to make money, go hit the plants. The older gentlemen like Mr. Walter and Mr. Him, Mr. O.L., Raymond Foster, I could name for days, Mr. Tiger, you know, they had it where they could live off of that income that they was making right here and provide for their families. We always looked at it as though we didn't want that for our kids. We wanted more, better. So we chose to go and make that big money and leave our wives home to raise our kids while we were gone 10, 12 hours out the day.
Right.
That's my opinion to what happened to the younger generation, that where the ball dropped at.
Anybody else?
I believe I agree with the majority of the things Brother Chris was saying. I also believe that we got somewhere along, we got too busy living life. Yeah. You know, everybody in this generation, everybody want to live their best life.
Right.
But while you're living your best life, you know, most of us are in our children's lives. But there are some kids that are not as fortunate.
Right.
So that's what the importance of Mr. O.L., Mr. Raymond Brown, Mr. Raymond Foster, that was the importance that they had to the community, while the other guys that were fathers that wasn't there those guys made an impact in our lives.
Right.
You know, whether it was baseball, whether it was, if they saw you on the street, they stopped you. What you doing, boy? Where you going?
That's right.
No matter what it
That's real
was, it was somebody in your ear. Even though some of us went and did what we did, we had that structure.
Right.
And just like the Bible says, if you put it in them as a child, when they get old, they'll know how to get back to it.
That's right.
And I believe if we can just get back to giving back,
Right.
we can change everything.
That's real. I ain't sure. Give me 1 second. I forgot to mention it, but I know you guys, if you've been watching the show, you know how it goes. The Real Talk signs, that's just for us to go ahead and dive in a little deeper. If you think if you're in agreement with something someone is saying and you want to put your sign up, put your sign up. If you think that they kind of skirting and skating around the surface, put your sign up, let them know. Let's go ahead and dig a little deeper so y'all know how it goes. I just wanted to reiterate that for anybody who's watching it for the first time. Go ahead on, Pastor.
Just to elaborate on what those guys said, when we were growing up, it was saying it took a village to raise a kid.
Right.
That means when you got caught doing something, the person in the neighborhood was able to whoop your behind and then send you home.
Right.
And then tell your mama and your daddy what went on, and then they whooped your behind. But now, the situation and circumstances now is that the village is not able to raise kids now because when somebody see your kid out there doing something wrong, your mama and your daddy say, well, that's not my kid.
Right.
You know, it's like the parents have became the child's friend instead of
Correct.
being a child's parent.
Right.
So the thing about it is
that's
that
real talk.
you know
That's real.
the thing about it is that we have to go back to that old time. And then the thing about it is now you got laws and stuff now that's telling you that you can't whip your kids.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Right.
In order, if you whip your kids, you end up going to jail.
Right.
So, I mean, times have changed, laws have changed. I mean, the way we grew up, I'm almost 40 years old, and I always tell people, you know, the last generation of their upbringing was in the early 30s, 40s.
Right.
But the thing about it is now, I think we need to get back to that time to where we're able to do what we have to do when it comes down to our kids. Then we wouldn't have all of the bad kids that it has now. But we can't be our kids' friends and be their parents at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Piggybacking off of what Chris said, Councilman Chris Hart, in my honest opinion, I do feel that a lot of the values that we were brought up on, when we were going through them, of course we didn't like them, but for some reason or another, that put something in us to tell ourselves or remind ourselves that that's something that we weren't going to repeat with our children. I don't think we did it intentionally, but we just assumed that what our parents did wasn't the way we would like to do it. But when you look back on it, you think back now, you realize it didn't kill you, and you realize that they did do it for love. Right. And the Bible actually says if you don't do it, you don't love them. That's and right. I know nobody really feels that. Nobody would say that out loud. Nobody would say that intentionally. But you just got to think about what the real reference and what that really means. It says that if you don't discipline your children, you're going to let the world discipline them, most likely law enforcement. So they saying discipline your children at home so that they won't have to be disciplined outside of home. Right. And we do know that some things happen, unfortunately, that no matter what a kid do, whether it was right or wrong, things have been happening. But we're not here today to specifically focus on that aspect. We're here to focus on the things that we can control, and we can control our community. Right. We can control the things that go on in our community by just getting involved and being active again. It seemed like you had something you wanted to say.
Well, I would just like to say that I think, first of all, I think we should get back to the church.
Yes,
church
yes.
God is the answer to it all.
Yes.
Right. I think that the Bible tells me we're going to grow wiser and weaker.
Correct.
So if we get back to the church and Sunday school and the kids studying the Bible and listening to what the pastor say, I think that's going to go a long way.
Right.
That's the only way that we going to get out of this is back to church.
Yeah, that's the basics.
You know, and once you get the basics down, then everything else going to follow.
Yes, yes. Brother Arthur, you got something you want to share, man? I see it. Go ahead, man. It's open. Pass him the mic.
So, just let me check. Just that little rod, I got it. How you doing, Martha McGee, Dickie boy? I'm still in the trenches. And some people want to talk about church. Man, got the young youth. I want to talk to the youth. They ain't coming to that church. But sometimes when you find you got men who come into that church, you understand me? Coming up when we leave church, he buying no. You feel me? He at the dope house.
Right.
You follow me? So you gonna tell this man to come to you telling these youngsters to come to the church? They ain't trying to hit you.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
See, they got people want titles. They come when you got a title on you. It's a responsibility you have. You hear me? If you're a father, you're an uncle, you're a brother, it's a responsibility you have. And you got nephews and cousins out there in the streets and sons in the streets that don't respect you, that you ain't doing nothing for. So you want the other kids that they know that, but listen to you.
Right.
No, they understand what titles mean, what their responsibility is. If you don't care about your own, you don't care about me.
Yeah.
So they ain't hearing you.
I got you.
Go handle your own. Make your own respect you. Then that's when listen.
I feel you, man.
Say go to church. I'm sorry, I disagree. I feel like the church is in me. The church is who you are.
I got you.
You know, so that's where it starts.
I got you.
Because hey, everything I'm used to seeing when men came there to help us. This is my reality. They were trying to have sex with my young sisters. Yeah. So I don't trust it. I got trust issues and I got it bad. One thing I did trust is what I believed on my understanding.
Gotcha.
You know, because then people weren't doing nothing for me. So what you finna go do for them youngsters out there?
Right.
Show them, you understand me?
Right.
Put a title on it. You got a responsibility behind it. Go handle yours.
Right. Right. Appreciate that, man, and that's what we want to have, and we're gonna give a chance for someone to speak on it. Before we do that, though, I wanna point your attention to the board we have up there. It's these are some ideas I had. You know, that when I try to think about some core values of a community, what makes a community, and you know, some people might change the order, but I felt very confident in the order that I had because that's my life. That's the way I want it in my life. But somebody else may have a different order, and they have a reasoning behind that. But what I'm going to do is not only point your attention to it. You know, you may agree. I believe most of you probably would agree in some semblance of that. That's about right. So at number one, core values of a community, God or some form of spirituality. You know, whatever they want to do, whatever. Family, friends, that's number two. Number three, community. And I put community on purpose in front of school because if you do community right, school gonna be a little easier. So I got school at number 4 and I had 5 extracurricular activities. So anybody, before I do that, because I think we're gonna get kind of took, or it looked like I think you wanted to respond a few minutes ago. I'm gonna let Pastor Johnson respond, do a rebuttal, with kind of piggybacking off what Brother Arthur McGee just got through speaking on, let him do that, and then I'm gonna go back to these core values that I was getting ready to speak on.
I want to get on that too.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
I believe this flat out. There's nothing that will grow without God being in it. Flat out. There's no way. But at the end of the day, I will say this, that somewhere along the line we got comfortable inside the church.
Right.
Inside the church. That's why myself and a few other guys, we've come together and we're knocking that traditionalism down, and you're gonna see us in the neighborhood every week. We're gonna be in the neighborhood. On Friday, we were in the neighborhood, me, Pastor Dyson, a couple more people, not only in one spot, but we walk in the neighborhood. Everybody we come across, we're inviting them to a certain location because we can't talk to everybody everywhere, but we're going to come out in the church in Amite, Roseland, Fluker, wherever we have to go. But we need to do it as a unit. Everything that we do, it has to be unity in it. And first of all, it has to be God in it. Then it has to be unity in it. And we got to be like-minded everywhere we move, so that when we move, we're moving as a unit. These young men and women that are out there, we're moving to where they're saying now somebody cares about us enough to come out here and see about us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Come by then, and only then we'll be able to get them inside the church, to Sunday school.
Right.
That way, once you knock down those walls, everything becomes easy because we got them building on everything that we need to build on.
And I do think that Arthur had a point, but I won't go so far as what he did, but I do understand the sentiment. The sentiment was that the church is not a building.
Right.
And the people in the church got to bring church wherever they go. We got to represent what church stand for. The church is a place of fellowship and worship.
Yeah.
And Jesus does want that. God wants you to worship and fellowship with one another. But COVID-19 and this corona pandemic has taught us one thing, that it's all types of ways for God to get his message out.
Yes,
and to create a new, what we should have been always doing is to guide us back to the core values of what church is really about.
Come on.
And that's really about relationships with people, like getting out in front of people and doing things to help your brother and your sister tangibly. You know, not in front of a pulpit, so to speak. So that part, I do understand what he was saying when he said about the church part and not being, people ain't want to go to the church because you got to get them first. Right. You got to get their mind first. And you can't grab their mind if you don't never come out where they are. Right. So I understood him on that. I think Brother Warren had something.
Y'all really pretty much said what you covered what I was gonna say. So, so that's pretty much what I was saying, because I understood exactly what Big Boy was saying, brother. So, but in the same sense as the mayor saying, you know, we know. See, us, we know church. We know we need to go to church as us older men. So most of us were raised in the church. So we know if we get in there, we get, you know, not in church, but like you're saying, it don't have to be the building, but we can show the example of going, and we can get God and keep God in our lives. So when we go out there and talk to these young men, we not setting them astray, because we filling them with the word that we know. So in that sense, those guys, like you say, none of them kids, a lot of them ain't never stepped foot in church, ain't never been taught the Bible, ain't never said nothing. That's just the new era. You know, a lot of them don't raise their kids in church. They're not going. So like he's saying, when you go to them with that, they ain't trying to hear it.
Right.
They ain't trying to hear what you're saying. But if you go to them with a sense of the word, with the word in you, when you go to them, you know how to accept them. You know how to receive their resistance. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing about it. So, you know, we have to keep God, we have to keep spirituality in all of this, because he is the true, you know, he is a true leader. He's going to lead us to what we need to get done.
Amen.
You know?
Absolutely.
I think what God just placed in my spirit, I'm gonna expound on what he was talking about. He was talking about the life that a person was living outside of the church. You go to church on Sundays, but you live in another way throughout the week. That means that we have to start practicing what we're preaching.
Right.
That means that we have to start living a life that is pleasing in God's eyesight in order to gain from somebody. Because you can't say that you love God one minute and then you out here doing something other than represent God the next minute. So that's what he was saying in a nutshell, is that when you saying that you got God in your life, live your life like you have God in your life, because that's what we're trying to reach in people these days. And like you said, when he's from the streets and he see a person that's coming from church doing some of the same things that they doing in the streets.
Right.
And it shouldn't be so.
That's right.
So the thing about it is that we have to live a life that is pleasing in God's eyesight Monday through Sunday, not just on Sunday.
Correct, absolutely. Pass that on around. Got a couple more guys want to speak on that right quick. And after they speak, I'm going to acknowledge a couple of comments that I've got.
This is what I'm actually really saying. False flaws and errors. Accept you for it. You human. You understand me?
Yes, yes.
Because you come to that church don't mean make you perfect.
Correct.
Exactly.
right across from the church. You understand me? Was a carport. I did drugs. I was up under there. You understand me?
Yeah.
On a Sunday evening, we letting out of church. I watch people get out of church, go to their cars, go home. Hear me? I watch under that carport, dopeheads, junkies, whatever you want to call them. People that you judge. People judge them. They putting together 5 pieces, about 2 pieces. And they was under there feeding the dope dealer who ain't putting no money up. The other junkie, they passing that around. So you tell me what God was at that Sunday. You hear me? God to me was up under that top post. They weren't fellowshipping over there. They weren't going to the other person coming out that church, talking about let's go home and have dinner with my family, your family. You know, they wasn't doing that. So you think them people out there want to hear that church? See that church come over there and talk to them? No. Sorry. You hear me? I feel like something you doing something to impress somebody. So because it ain't from the heart. So when things come from the heart, they'll know it. They're human too. How you gonna tell a person? Sometimes you gotta get to the young kids, grown men. They probably can't even read. You gonna tell them about the Bible. You understand? It took me a minute to comprehend it. I couldn't even really read. Graduated high school, went to college, still barely could read. Was afraid to somebody put the Bible in front of me. Afraid to let you know I couldn't really read. So tell me how you finna come out there and get some of them kids who's uneducated, scared to tell you I can't read.
Right.
Do this here. They gotta trust you.
Right.
Everybody out there got trust issues. Make them trust you.
That's real.
Understand me?
We got some ideas that we're gonna share today too. Pass that to Pastor
Hope, faith,
Perkins.
and love.
I'm gonna say about it. My name is Dylan Perkins. And I'm gonna reiterate on some of the things that have come across in the subject. Me personally, as a young at-risk youth, I used to look at preachers and how they used to approach me and look down at me. But the Bible tells us to trust, don't put no trust in man.
Absolutely.
You hear me? That's Councilman, the Mayor, Horace, Pastor Johnson. Don't put no trust in man, but everything in God. But once you get to God, my Lord and Savior, personal Savior, Jesus Christ, God, let me tell you something about God. Let me listen in. Let me tell you about God. Since I'm not the type of ministers that'll look down at Dickie, but guess what? Me and Dickie was out there together at one time. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of person that's gonna look down at nobody. But guess what? David say when David messed up and he repented, he asked God to fix him first. Wipe me with hyssop. And then when you finish with me, then I'll be able to go out there and get everybody right. I'm not the type of person to be like I stay in the back street. You know what I mean? I don't have to be in the pulpit every Sunday. Because a real Christian knows they are the church. That's why God don't want us to flower our body. You know what I mean? Everybody have tattoos. I have tattoos. But I got these tattoos before I knew any better. But yes, I'm still a minister. Yes, and every day God bless me to wake up. God say you sin by thought, words, and deeds. And I don't care who you are. I don't care. You can be the bishop, the pope. As long as you're in the human flesh, you're fighting every day with principalities, man.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's not up to the pastors for you to have your own personal relationship with God. That's up between you and God. All we are is just messengers. And let me tell you something. Everybody's gift is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
No man gonna pray the same. No preacher gonna preach the same. And yes, right now, some doors of the church is closed right now. But guess what? We having church right now, brother.
That's right. Real talk.
So you don't let that one, because you got to look at him. Look, he man just like me.
That's right.
That's right.
So you don't let that turn you away from God. Oh, you're a smart guy. That's why we got that book. Because, hey, they can be a witness to this. And I'm quite sure. When God give them something, they don't understand it right there and there.
So don't.
Right.
Because there's been times I read that Bible, I won't get the understanding until probably later on.
Right.
That's right.
So we need to stop letting people deter us, and you got to understand. That's why God allowed, He give us, that's one gift He did give us that we all have, is the gift of choice.
Absolutely.
Right.
Free will.
Free will.
Free will.
So you know, I still have my little battles. I'm quite sure
Everybody do.
everybody do. Because I'm going to tell you
That's real
something.
talk, man.
Before I changed my life, I don't have nothing for when I was selling dope. Nothing.
Real talk.
I don't have nothing,
That's
man.
real talk, man. That's real talk.
Preach.
But I was one of those guys was saying, like, Lord, what? See, once you get ready, when that Holy Spirit started whipping on you,
Who?
because guess what? Before I accepted my calling, there on purpose, I couldn't do nothing but cry. My mom and my wife used to ask me, what's wrong? And I used to tell them, what I'm going through right now, can't nobody help me.
Come on.
Right.
Absolutely. There you go.
Nobody else.
That's what's up, man.
Can't nobody help. And I had to get right, you know what I mean? And I still make mistakes, man. So don't let nobody tell you once you get saved, everything's gonna be all right. It's hard.
It's a fight.
Right.
It's a fight. It's fighting spiritual warfare every day.
That's what's up, man.
And I'm here to tell you, bro, I'm still the same way every time you see me.
That's real,
Because
man.
I love you.
That's real talk. That's what's up.
What I'm trying to explain to you, trying to set it to a 9-year-old.
Right. Well, one thing we're gonna do is throughout this discussion, we're gonna try to talk about some things that we might be able to do to kind of get their attention. But I'm gonna say one thing and then I'm gonna let Mike speak. But one thing I want to share with y'all fellas, man, I had you can call it an epiphany or revelation recently about the Bible. You know, I used to read the Bible because I was told to read it. I didn't have a passion to read it on my own. And some of the language, the way they spoke, even though I was a pretty good student, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I want y'all to think about something. This came to me recently. You ever wonder why the Bible is the #1 best-selling book of all time when it's the same words all the time? See, I'm going to explain that to you what came over me in my spirit that gave me an understanding about the Bible. You hear the words, it's a living Bible all the time. And you say, okay, living Bible, cool. What that really mean? Well, I'm going to tell you what it means. See, when you read it and you 25, same passage, it might mean something to you, it may not. But why when you read them same words when you get 35, it's something different to you. And then why when you read them again when it's 45, it means something different to you. So that means those same words, they didn't stay on the paper like a normal book. A normal book, you read it, you consumed the material, it's over with. The Bible is constantly living and breathing inside of you as your mind opens up and as your understanding opens up. You're going to always get something different from the Bible. So that's what I wanted to share about the Bible. When you read it at a certain point in life and then you read it at a later point in life, when they say it's a living Bible, that's why, because you can keep reading that same book. Some of you pastors have read it from the front to the back. And you can still read it again and you're going to get something else to share with people in your congregation. So that's what I wanted to share. And before that, and after, you know, and without taking up too much time, I didn't want to just expound too long, but I did want to share that because I talk about that in the shop with some of the guys in here because there was a big deal to me once I understood that. So I'm going to pass it around to Mr. Mike.
Just listen to everybody talk. I guess it gets to what you were about to address, Horace, with some of the solutions. If you really listen to everybody talking here, everybody's talking from pain, suffering, some form of misery, you know what I'm saying, or some type of triumph. And you ask, where did we go wrong? We can go all the way back to December the 6th, I think it was 1865, 13th Amendment, abolishment of slavery. We used to tell stories. We used to fellowship, small rooms, probably smaller than this. Think about the journey over from the slave trade. All the communication, all the talking, the many nights of crying. And here we are, 2019, I still hear the pain, the suffering. So if we are having this type of dialogue.
Right.
How do you think a kid is feeling in the street that
Right.
Brother Arthur is referring
That's
to
right.
as 9?
That's
Who's
right.
talking to him?
That's
Who's
right.
talking to her?
That's right.
I mean, I have things that happen in my personal life with my family, my kids. At some point in time, it's going to have to be, again, the show is real talk, right?
Right. It's real talk.
It's going to have to be a group to have those hard discussions.
Right.
To the point, kids
Right.
having kids,
Right.
where things went wrong.
Right.
Where's the education component?
Right.
How are we telling a young lady, young man, protect yourself?
Right.
If you're getting into this, who's educating the mother who's 15, 16, got a newborn
Right.
kid? Hey, you have one child.
Right.
Well, we need to take you to the doctor, get you on
That's
some
right.
type of, contraceptive or
Right,
something.
right.
To protect or educate the younger man. We've lost that skill set,
Right.
And talking back to, when the councilman brought up and mentioned some great men's names throughout the community, these men would sit down when my dad wasn't around
Right.
and have those conversations. I would even get information from the councilman. He would tell me, share stories, share learning.
Right.
In the workplace, we call it lessons learned.
Right.
He called a whipping on something. Hey, man, I did this. I don't want to do that.
Right.
We don't have that. That's lost. We don't have the ability to share wisdom,
Right.
knowledge. We're not communicating.
Right.
And we have to get past our pain
Right.
and our demons
Right.
before we can go out to help anybody else with their own.
Correct.
Come on.
That's right.
So right now, you're talking about mental health,
Right.
right?
Right.
This is mental health.
That's real.
We as black folk don't want to talk about it.
That's right.
It's a demon in our community. We perceive it as weakness.
Right.
White people pay money all the time. Don't mean to label or
Right,
put
right.
a color to something. But other races, I pay a top dollar to go talk to somebody
Right.
just to facilitate
That's right.
some solutions.
That's right.
It's a great starting point. But if this is where we are, imagine a broader picture
Right.
of a group of people where
That's
we
right.
really need to open up our own
That's
street
right.
and
That's
have
right.
these type of talks.
That's right. And that's why I know it may seem like, the show is kind of veering off, but it's not. In my heart, we don't have these conversations enough. This real talk, it's a show, but this ain't no show right now. It's more important to me that something come from this.
Right.
I'm not worrying about following no exact script.
Right.
I got a guideline and I have an outline, but a lot of these fellas, man, I ain't spoken to them in a while, but they know it's love. They feel the same way about me, but you get to hear all these different elements. And it's important that people hear that's viewing the show. As far as getting to a point of where we're going to get to some solutions, we're going to get there, but this is what you got to hear first, because this is how it would be in the streets. You ain't nobody going to want to talk about no solution till you got to hear them out. And if they ain't ready to talk, you got to stay there long enough till they start talking.
Right.
The pastor told me he got 6 kids. He said if you go home and you ask each one of them something, everybody know that he's daddy, but you can't share daddy time with all the kids without giving them individual time. He said, so what he did to make sure everybody talk and really tell them what's on their mind, he had a rule that he gonna give them 15 minutes apiece. Because if you just ask how you doing, they gonna always say I'm good.
Right.
I'm everything straight. But he said he don't stop right there, he dig in a little bit. He get in, he know, that's how you know your kids. You gotta ask more than surface questions. When you get a little bit deeper, you're gonna find out probably after 10 minutes, now he's on the talk now. Right. That's when you start getting to the bottom of things now. So what I'm saying is, the show do have a point, and it's happening right now. This is the point. This is not a regular real talk show where you got 3 folks, main topic you want to discuss, and then you get to the end and I do my little thing at the end. No, this is what we want, and this is what we're doing. So I'm gonna let my brother Derek, then I'm gonna focus back to this board in a second.
Yeah, Pastor Johnson, I understand what you were saying. I don't know, Horace, remember the first time I came on his show, and I was like, I want to be able to, in the future, get some pastors together spiritually, but not mostly on religion, because a lot of people my age, they don't count on religion, they count on spiritual aspect with God.
All right.
They only portray what they see of God. They don't really want to, hear Christianity, Baptist, Catholic. They want to know how you really are with God, or you're a man of God before you're a man of religion.
Right.
So, know, that's some of the things too, as being a leader, always spiritually connected.
Right.
And another thing, we ready to mobilize and inspire the people that we are talking about.
Absolutely.
Are we ready to just sit there and just, teach, instead of teaching, make them understand? How can you just teach? It's like we're in a classroom and the teacher up there teaching, but we're not understanding after we leave the classroom. We still have to make them understand, the things that we are talking about.
Right.
As me, I grew up in a, single mother home. Just my grandmother and my mama, but I had, other people around me in other community, even though some of the guys was, out there doing their thing in the streets, but they taught me, they told me, and they made me understand, like, Lil D, continue to go to school. They enforced that on me. If I was doing something wrong, they actually went and told my mama. So, that would help me get to the way that I am now, to sit here with y'all guys today to be able to talk on these things. We're going to be out there, we're going to have people want to be leaders, or the people that's sitting in this room, or the people that's listening, are they ready to be leaders, to be out there and initiate themselves in a situation when somebody in the community throwing something down, and make sure they respect them when they tell them pick that back up. Don't dirty up the community. Let them understand what's the problem about dirtying up the community. Or when the police out there doing some injustice, because I step up and I be like, y'all can't do this here. Y'all cannot just come up here and park and say we're gonna do a license check in the community. Right. And right there in the neighborhood without giving a warning newspaper or anything. Right. And I'll be out there and I'll call the city jailhouse in front while I'm out there in the community with the people and let them know, like, I'm here with y'all. Right. So they respect me even when I tell them, hey, we ain't finna dirt about our community, or when y'all want to do something, make sure y'all get a permit to do it. Right. They listen to my voice because they know I'm gonna stand up for them. Right. At any given time, if they doing wrong or when things going right, I'm gonna stand up. That's what's up. I'm a man of my word. That's what's up. So another thing we gotta get for the educational system, our school, we gotta get on the college grade level scale for us, the high school. Right. Because when you go to Livingston Parish, I went to I was been there for 1 year. My 11th grade year, they on the college schedule, grade scale. Mm-hmm. We go to Amite, they teaching the same thing that we learned in middle school. Yeah. Like, where's the come up? Right. Where's they getting us ready for, activities outside of real life when we graduate? Because that's real deal. Once you graduate high school, I was lost. Right. That's right. I really was. I was lost. So, what was the solution that we're gonna really put in effect for the school system? Where's the money? Where's the funding coming from to help our schools get better? Awesome, man. That's some great points, man. And the young man always been kind of leaning in, and from time to time he reach out to me about things like that because I know it's dear to his heart. And you got to commend that because he's a young man and he works and all that type of stuff, but he does care about his community. He come on the show before and he just talked to me. He just talks to me from time to time, and I appreciate his point of view. And we're going to get into that, try to talk about some of them things in just a few. But I want to go back to this board. When I say fabric, core values of the community, okay, for the most part, most of y'all agree that in some form or another, that's pretty much what we would consider the core values of the community. Now tell me, so anybody can take this, tell me which ones you think, first of all, tell me which ones you think is pretty much non-existent today, or don't mean nothing to nobody today, or to the majority of the people in the urban community. So just, if you see them, we got God, spirituality, family and friends, community, school, and extracurricular activities. So anybody take that, tell me which ones you probably could scratch off for most people out the gate. Which one?
Oh, you go number 1, 2, 3, 4.
So which ones you think important to people?
What's important to people?
Yeah, what majority of the people in our community? Extracurricular. For anybody else? I just want to hear what somebody say. Y'all, it's got. So.
Okay, number one, for instance, the church, the clubs have a dress code and the church doesn't. Mm-hmm. So that's why we'll strike number one out. Family and friends, people only get involved now when you step on their toes. Mm-hmm. If you're not messing with their family, right, you don't hear nothing from nobody in the community. The community, when you try to do something in the community, everyone has a input or say why they think something shouldn't be this way. Right. Okay, school. That's a whole conversation that we need to go out there to 16 and talk about, because college is not for everyone. Let me say that. Some of y'all are college graduates. I applaud you. I graduated high school. I tried Southern. Wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. I'm more hands-on.
Right.
We need to tell these kids that.
Right.
Quit trying to force college down everyone's throat because it's not for them.
Right.
Some of these kids could take a motor apart and put it back together in the 11th grade right now.
Right.
Don't try to send them to school. Find them a trade that they can be men and take care of their families. You know, but we steady in school. If school is for you, perfect.
Right.
That's the road path you need to take.
Right.
Take your trade school.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty that need welders, carpenters, pipe fitters, boiler makers, nurses, RNs. I mean, you just go on the website and see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if that is for you, go that route. If it's not, let's put these kids in a trade. Scaffolding. I did scaffolding for 20 years, and Lord knows, just like Reverend Lionel, I mean not Lionel, Darwin said, when I sold dope, I didn't make $1. Didn't make $1. Yeah, I made money to spend, to pay the bills, but now, I try to live close to God as I can. I'm not saved, but since I've quit doing the wrong and try to do right, God has blessed me abundantly.
Yeah.
I've made more and gotten more now that I'm on the right path than when I was on the wrong path.
Right.
Thought I was on the right
That's
path.
what's up, man.
And that's from a single parent that grew up in the streets.
Yeah.
Just like with Tutu, with Delwood. We hung around. We all did it. We hung on Murder Street, Hines Court. That's what we done. They're not doing nothing we didn't do. The only difference between us and them right now, they're pulling these guns and shooting and killing one another for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We fought about it, and the next day we played about it. But at the same time, when we grew up, if you went from Amite, you couldn't come to Amite.
Yeah.
And not pick no fight and get away with it.
Right, right.
But it was a community, and again, everybody on the street could whoop you. Mr. Oil could whoop you, Mr. Him, Raymond Foster, Larry Joe, Prentice, Mr. Tiger, Mr. Walter. I can name 15 or 20 of them.
Right.
If you did wrong at the park, on the streets, you got beat.
Right.
With no ifs, ands, and buts. Your parents beat you. They didn't care what you said.
That's right.
Whatever that adult said, they was dead right.
That's right.
The problem we have now is if I tell your child something and they come home and tell you, you coming to me.
Right, right.
You don't be telling my baby nothing.
Right.
We don't try to sympathize. Everybody knows their child.
That's right.
You live with your child 24/7. You know your child. If they talk back to you, you know they'll talk back to someone else.
Right. That's
we
right.
need to face life for what it is. Just like you said what this is, real talk.
Real talk.
We need to face life real.
That's right.
What these kids are doing at home, if we gonna make an impact on them, these parents have to be willing to meet us halfway.
Correct. Right.
You can't want
That's
us to say, okay, don't do this with your baby, and then you go home and tell your baby, don't listen to them.
That's right.
Who are they?
That's right.
They come from that road.
That's right.
They live in this life.
That's true.
You know, we can't have that.
No, that's
so
real.
if we're gonna keep it real,
That's real.
let's keep it all the way real.
And I know for a fact that I'm gonna let you speak real quick too. I know for a fact that when I put a post up about a week ago with a video post talking about this very meeting, one of the things that I made sure I emphasized was the fact that what we're trying to do is, at the conclusion of all this, at some point in the very, very near future, we're trying to organize a community culture again by forming into some type of organization, whether it's something that we already got or something that we established new. But I was really imploring the parents, if you really truly want community help, allow us men and whoever those women are too to really do our part. I'm not talking about whipping your children and doing that kind of discipline, but I am talking about incentivizing reward and consequence. So if we say stuff to them, take my word for it, because I'm not gonna lie. But if you don't know that, then take a little time to get to know me. And if you don't know any of these other fellas here, take a little time, because at the end of the day, you're doing this for the betterment of the community and the children. You can't, I don't think no one would be here if they had any ill intentions with anybody's children. Can you offend a kid? Yes, that's why you pray every night for anybody that you offended, whether you knew you did or not. But at the end of the day, we men enough to say, you know what, I thought about what I said, that wasn't the way I should have addressed it, I'm sorry, the next day. So that's what I wanted to make sure. Parents, please, if you ever get involved with this community group and these men or other groups that trying to form and help the community, at least give them people the benefit of the doubt and allow us to do our parts. And I'm not talking about doing no corporal punishment to your children, but just holding them to something and making it be a reason for them to do it or don't do it. But when they don't do it, it's a consequence that not necessarily they're gonna pay in forms of abuse or hitting or whipping, but in the forms of, okay, with the field trip that we plan quarterly, this the one you're gonna have to sit this one out. You know, we checked with the school the other day. I popped up on you the other day. Principal told me about you. You had to come to the office. You know, I love you, man. Keep coming to the weekly things that we got. But this field trip that we're finna do on whatever date, you're gonna have to miss this one. And to me, you know, I heard about these Boy Scouts that used to be with Mr. Irvin. I wasn't one. They would say Mr. Irvin would do that kind of stuff to them. You know, you can't go on a trip unless you go to church. If you want to play basketball, you got to help clean up first. Stuff like that. My grandpa would do that. So I just wanted to throw that out because he was just talking about their parents, you know, allowing people to do the community village aspect of it. So, see, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The question was what was important to the community on this board. Right. And to be totally honest, you can take an eraser and just I'm just being real now.
No, real talk. It's real talk, man.
Erase everything on it.
Right.
Simply because I do youth sports. Football, baseball. When they let me coach, I coach basketball. If they had soccer, I probably do. I mean, I do it all with the children because my heart is for the kids. I have 6 kids myself. And I'm dog tired because when I leave from with my kids, which are football, baseball, basketball, when I leave them kids, I still got to go home and be daddy to those kids. So at the end of the day, me and a guy was having a conversation the other day. I can have 20, 30, 40, 100 kids, and we're teaching them the way that a man or a woman supposed to be, because sometimes I have little girls and we're teaching and we're working with them. But the problem is that, and it happens in the school system too, because my wife works in the school system. It happens there too. When the child is wrong, the parent nowadays they're upholding the wrong. Mm-hmm. Like he said, don't tell my baby nothing, don't do my baby nothing. And then the ones that we do have, when we're instilling, like for baseball, basketball, football, whatever it is, when we're instilling these values in them, because all my kids, whether they like it or not, I ask the parents, I'm going to talk about God at some point with these children. I'm going to talk about God. I'm going to try to instill it. Right. But the problem is, once they leave my presence, once they leave from around us, the positive, the problem is, who's instilling more positive into them? Because at the end of the day, what you see and what you get at home is probably going to be your outlook on life. Because at the end of the day, and when I remember, at the end of the day, at my 12, my 13, my 14, I was in Boy Scouts. I was in church because, like you say, Mr. Irvin did do that. We had to come to church. We had to do this. We had to participate. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at what my eyes see. I saw Dick and them on 3rd. Because on the highway through there, we got to see them. And then instead of some of the older cats that were there, Mr. OL, all of them, I don't live with them. Being real, we didn't live with them. But at the end of the day, they give us all the positive they want. But if it wasn't in the house, we didn't get it. So we walking, we seeing Dick and them on 3rd, and first thing happens is somebody that knew my daddy, Billy Ray, before he was the preacher. First thing they holler. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your daddy was a gangster. So what do you think a son wants to hear? What do you think a son, what you think a son gonna want to live up to? I ain't trying to live up to Mr. OL and them. I know they good dudes, but I want to live up to Duck. That's what they used to call my daddy, but I want to live up to Duck. I want to be like Duck. So in saying all that, we have to get to a point where instead of pushing what people used to be and how people used to act or what's going on in that house, we have to just have a positive impact. And the parents got to help us. We got to get to the parent, like you said, from 18 to 25. Some of them kids, they're parents. So if we can get them to get on board. But first, it's going to take us being one mind. And we can put that board into use. We can put everything on that board into use. I mean, that's flat out what it is.
See, the reason why, son, do me a favor, for the viewers who's still not knowing what we referencing, catch those 5 core values, turn the camera for a second and let them be able to see what we're talking about, and then you can get back to the regular program. Just kind of raise it up a little bit. You can hold it up there and just let them see them 5 core values of the community. It's God, spirituality, family, friends, community, school, and extracurricular activities. So this is what we referring to right now currently. And of course, one of the things that Pastor Johnson said, or Tutu, I want to just be able to talk to him like I want to. He come to shop all the time. We all pretty much agree, and we'll talk about that when we get toward the very end of the show when we're going to have a suggestion segment. But one of the things that you said that you can put that instill all that positivity into them in that particular practice session or those game day sessions, but then the majority of their week is not surrounded by that same positivity. So we all pretty much understand that whatever we form or do, it's going to have to at least be weekly. Can't be daily, but it's got to be at least weekly, because annual things is good. All these Apollo and talent shows is good when you do twice a year, but there's too many days that go by when you don't have a chance to be able to have that kid in front of you where they start to create that rapport with you. So, not to talk too long, I know I wanted to pass the microphone to my brother Michael Morris.
I just want to reiterate, because Councilman Hart kind of like expounded and touched on some serious things, right? I mean, in school, if those of you can remember, we had the wood shop, right, woodwork, had home ec. I think CNA even started in the high school system back then, certified nurses.
Right.
So, for me, and to expound on what Councilman was talking about, in order for us to get all of this back and get it realigned, like Pastor's talking about, get it back on the board, you have to do it from a position of power.
Right.
And the only way you can do it from a position of power, you have to vote in people who can represent you sitting at a table.
Right.
I can't go up to the state capitol. Councilman can, the mayor can, talk to the state rep, and be able to get the resources to facilitate all the things we need. Things that, the councilman touched on in the classrooms, making changes or improvements within our community. Things that are run down that we need to rebuild, revamp the education system. So the long and short of it, if we're not, again, back to education and communication, if we're not putting it out there, taking advantage of these situations that we have to say, hey, look, this is who's on the ballot for XYZ. These are the people that we need to align with to represent us, to be our voice.
Right.
And through a position of power, it may be one man, one representative, but he got 20 million people pushing him.
Right.
You can make that change.
That's right.
But if we're not supporting our local councilman, supporting our mayor, I feel comfortable going to talk to the mayor because it's a reflection of me.
Right.
Not saying I couldn't do it with somebody else, but I know he lives in the community.
Right.
He lives in the community.
Right.
They don't live, down in Hammond.
Right. Right.
They don't live in Kentwood.
Right.
So I've never wrong with Hammond. Nothing wrong with Hammond. But just to get back to that point, Councilman just outlined some very, very important things that need to take place. And again, utilizing that opportunity to vote, having opportunity to get kids in the neighborhood. Bring them to go get registered to vote.
Right.
Express to them the importance. Explain to the parents why. These are the things. Again, touching on what Councilman's talking about. Everybody, he's right, is not built for higher education. But a higher aptitude doesn't mean necessarily it's found within a book.
Right.
There's things he could do all the time. Read the tape measure, build a house, do all that. Man, I'm about to go pay somebody.
Right.
I got all the education in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
My intellect don't move like that.
Right.
So we can accomplish a lot of things through communication.
Right.
Where I'm
Amen.
weak, he's strong.
Right.
And where he's weak, I'm strong.
Right.
So we're going to facilitate these resources.
That's right.
And we're going to share them.
Right.
Cultivate things like that. I need to keep Councilman in his position. Because I know if I'm not around, my kids are around him, he has that best interest at heart.
Right.
I know if mayor's in there, I know he's going to make sure the judicial system and all the other things and these resources, when this money trickles down from the top, from a position of power, they're going to make a reflection of these core values that represent me and my community and my family.
Right.
So for me, I fully believe and support what's going on now. I fully believe and support in these two gentlemen and what they're doing for being here.
Yeah.
I don't see too many other people running through.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So it starts with stuff like that.
All right. That's
Like
right.
real talk. You
That's
gotta
real
be
talk.
Don't be about it. be about it, don't talk about it.
In 1 second, we can pass the mic around before y'all speak though. Before you speak, I wanted to, since this show is interactive and it's going to be hard to do many of them, but I do want to acknowledge a few of the viewers. And Robert Jackson said, we have too much money leaving the community. The community needs more opportunities to grow. The parents and the children have a wall in between them. He said the school and the community go hand in hand. If one goes down, the other one goes down as well. And then Ms. Terry Hickens said, preach. Ms. Cheryl Huron said, God breathes life into our bodies and wakes us up every day. When we know that, we matter. Know our self-worth and know we are loved unconditionally. God provides. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. God placed certain people on this earth, what she said, to be a vessel. I just wanted to acknowledge some of that because I do always say that we're going to acknowledge them. You can't get to all of them because we have a big group discussion, but I do want to do it from time to time. A couple more people on this particular topic, and then we're going to move on to the next question that I had. So whoever it was, two people, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
They are right on one of the comments. I want to address one of the comments.
Go ahead.
Three Stooges is outside the city limits of Amite.
Uh-huh.
You know the city, only revenue the city gets from the Three Stooges?
What?
Water and sewer.
Wow.
Three Stooges make millions of dollars a year off of us. Contributes nothing back to the community. Well, I'm just saying,
I know, right.
You know, and those people are right. We need to start shopping, buying from our people.
Mm-hmm.
Putting the money back. Oh, no, I'm not going to say our people. Amite.
Right.
We need to start buying back from Amite.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes out everywhere else and spend their money, and then they want Amite to fund everything.
Right.
We're only playing with about a $4 million budget.
Right.
Okay, the police department gets about a third of that, $1.7 million per year for that.
Right.
Okay, so you still have the employees, you have overhead. The town don't have an abundance of money that people think we do.
Uh-huh.
Because of situations like Three Stooges. Making millions of dollars but giving nothing back to the black community. When all of the black community money goes there.
Right.
See, we have to stop things like that. If we want the city to help grow the community or give back to the community has to give back to the city.
Correct.
You know, we can't always try to get away. We running water, we borrowing water from our neighbor, and our neighbor paying his bill.
Right, right.
You know, we won't get a trash can, but we'll come put our trash can in preachers because we know preacher ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
But we still, the city eats that.
Right.
We have to pay to get garbage disposed.
Right.
The landfill is not free for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and once we get everybody in Amite to realize that and become property owners.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Quit renting.
Right.
Buy you some property, buy you some land. I'm not saying today. I'm saying in time.
Make a goal.
Plan it. Right.
Make it, and then you start paying property tax. You got more money going to the school system that we're talking about. You have more money coming into the city.
Right.
We can better the city.
Right.
You know, people want to talk about the Hammond, the North End, the South End, okay? Let's talk about Hammond and Amite for a minute. People that lives in Hammond, 70 to 60% are home owners.
Mm-hmm.
People on the North End are renters. We're taking care of everybody else that don't even live here in our community.
Right.
That don't even own the houses we live in.
I definitely got to say something about that. I got
you know, so if we want to address the situation, let's address it again.
Right.
Let's become homeowners.
Right. That's right.
Let's start paying our own property taxes,
Right.
putting our money in to take care of our children.
Right.
Come on.
Don't
That's
expect
right.
nobody else to take care of our children.
Right. That's right.
If we want somebody to take care of our children, let's put in. Let's quit standing on the streets on Friday night when the football game is. Let's come in the game.
Come in the game. That's right.
Let's support the basketball team. Let's support the baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody in Amite, not everybody, the majority of people in Amite will give $20 or $30 to every cause, Amite will be great.
Yeah. We the parachute we ought to be. And
But what we do,
that's right.
I don't like Tutu.
That's right.
I don't like Harvest.
Right.
What Harvest doing with the money? I
Right.
don't like Mike.
Right.
Quit worrying about what everybody is doing.
Right.
As long as you're seeing results.
Right.
Because just like he said, every day, 3 days out the week,
Right.
he's down at the park with other people's children.
Right. That's right.
Then he still have to go home to his 6 children.
Right.
So how you think they feel? Dad at the park with somebody else's children.
Right. That's right.
Now daddy got to come home tired and
Right.
still build his children.
Right.
You know, people don't take that into consideration. The thought and the effort that they put behind
Right.
being out there with these kids,
Right.
trying to teach someone else's kids
Right.
the right and wrong way.
That's right.
So if we want to make everything right, let's give back to our
Correct.
our community.
Correct.
Go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting. Please go ahead. I just had to say that.
Go ahead, man.
You just gotta say what's on your mind. It's real
Right,
talk, man.
right,
It's
right.
real talk. Simple as that. But no, all I was going to respond on, like I say, the extracurricular activities. You know, what it needs to be. Like I say, you say in the near future, but I want us to, like, before we leave here today, set another meeting before we leave here today.
Right.
Each one of us invite 2 more people,
Right.
just to see what's on their mind. We could get like I say, just dedicate a larger spot,
Right.
or whatever it takes to do it. And they, like I say, regular something to feed them. They'll come eat.
That's
listen.
right.
You know, we just want to hear what's on people's mind. And like I say, don't procrastinate. Like I say, we can get them in there and get them to vote by this November. You know, we can get
Right.
them we can start getting them to vote. Everybody come there. We can bring them voter registration with them.
Right. That's
And
right.
fill our stuff there. I mean, starting
Be
like this
proactive.
month.
Right.
I'm like July. Starting in July.
I think Pastor Johnson has one July the 18th at the parking lot of the community center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I have to check that date to finalize it, make sure we don't have an event.
Yeah.
And if it's free, we'll be a voter registration then, and then there'll be another voter registration in August.
Yeah.
So like one of that way we get it started so it procrastinate, you know. I mean, get it kicked off and like I say, line up meetings and
Right.
keep it rolling. Don't let it die to the side.
Right, that's what we want to do. And one thing I wanted to say, and most of the time I try to stay on the politically correct just because of who I am, but it'd be itching, it'd be itching sometimes for me to say certain stuff, but I'm gonna say it today. But I ain't, we do too much of patronizing businesses that don't care nothing about us. And then they cocky, because I hear from people that patronize these businesses, how they get treated when they go in there, and we keep going like we have to spend our money there. If you gotta go about another mile or something to go to somebody else, man, go to somebody else. One thing we can do, I know as black folks, we gonna have to start owning things and start businesses, but until then, until we do that, you don't have to spend your money with people that don't help. And I'm telling you right now, it's a lot of businesses around here that do support, but it's a lot of businesses around here that will not, and they don't have no problem telling you they will not. And I've tried, and I know I'm telling you, so I'm just giving you an example. Y'all know in our community, 51 Mart, I'm just keeping it real, I'm sorry. I've heard too many things about the owner of it. I've asked them directly to support Amite Alumni United with the things we're trying to do in the school system, and they almost feel like you're a joke. The reason why they can feel like you're a joke is because they feel like as soon as you walk out of here with your papers, I still got 100 people sitting outside of my door finna spend money with me, so you ain't got no power. But I ain't never want to just demonstrate that. But back in the days when people wanted to get things done, they used to sign petitions through the community, and they would tell each other and make a vow to each other that we're not gonna spend no money with them until something changes that they wanted on the agenda. So what I'm saying is, if you really want stuff done and people in your community, yes, businesses need to be here. Sometimes we ain't in a position to open up these businesses. That is understandable. But at the same time, you spending your money, and I think if somebody's in here collecting money from our people, then they ought to support the interests of our people. And I'm not saying always send the money outward. They get money from us, but then they send their money outward. They don't want to buy into our children, besides as long as it's not benefiting their bottom line. And I'm telling y'all straight up, y'all gonna have to learn the power of y'all dollar. That is the number one thing we have at our disposal. Black people spend trillions of dollars every year. We don't make up for 6%. Well, we make up 14% of the entire United States population, but we are one of the biggest spenders because we buy stuff that don't always appreciate. We buy some of the wrong things, and we spend our money wrongfully, but we need to start focusing on where we spend our dollars, and things will change your community. So I just wanted to say that while you was talking. And now go ahead on, Arthur.
$1.1 trillion.
Let's talk about some things that people are afraid of. To answer to your thing you said, I wish the person would have came and put their hands on me when I was 11. I was shot. You understand that? I'm trying to tell you what's going on in your community. You hear me? You talking about I ain't here to politic. You talk about a business, they ready to run in there with guns right now. Business, you want this, that. You open up a business now. We got to get these people to trust us. These young kids.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me? We got guns in the neighborhood that right now can go from here to Arcota. You hear me? In the mind frame of a person who don't understand the value of life. You want to come out there, you want politics? No, I ain't got time for it. My people out there hurting. They dying. I ain't here to come up in here and I ain't stroking nobody's ego. I'm gonna tell you. Make them trust you. You got kids out there being molested. They don't want to talk about that. They won't talk about little girls having sex with a brother, a daddy. Nobody, they ain't trusting you to tell you what's going on. The boys been touched on out there. Stuff is happening. They they need somebody to talk to they can trust. That they ain't finna, you feel me? That they can open up to. But everybody don't want to talk about what's real. See, this is what you getting. You hear me? People suppressing things all their life. You hear me? When that baseball stuff, baseball over with, what you think gonna happen? All that stuff they suppress gonna surface up. Because they ain't getting no help for it. Then you gonna want to judge him, you don't know what's going on with him. You hear me? I was 9 years old, but I'm in prison. Think somebody come talking to me? No, I was a bad boy. That's what they said. But I was worried about trying to feed my sisters. Because old men would come and having sex with them. like he was helping us. They ain't telling nobody. They're talking about it today. Get them young girls and boys talking about what's going on in their lives today. You hear me? Right now. Because I ain't here to politic. I love you, man. You hear me? I know one thing about it. We get grant writers up in here. We can get some money here. Government got it. We got lack of education. We got homes, places to stay. We got things right now. We have minority. Grant writers come up in here, bro, they can give it for us. People that need some help. The prison system failing us. You go out there to that jail. They ain't getting up some meal, TV, and some zoos. And bring them, letting them come home. Yeah, that's what y'all get. That jail out there, they ain't care. They hiring people who ain't qualified. Just a check. Ain't no evaluating. Just them reintroducing nobody to society. Y'all up in here talking. Talk about what's real. I'm out there. The boys got guns. Young mind. Hear me? They feel like you. Dying ain't nothing. Killing it. Killing is a star. Nobody having value over human life. Right. Nobody teaching them nothing. They don't trust you. I don't trust you. You hear me? I trust. What I trust me. You hear me? Don't trust me from half the time. Because I make some reckless decisions. Because things I done. The things I didn't get no help for. Impulsiveness. You understand me? Get angry. Pride. Yeah, my pride is like a house built on sand. It ain't gonna stand up. You know, gonna destroy me. Take me away from my kids, my family. Things that's so really important. But men out there want to be fathers, but don't have the tangible to be there to keep his family. Because soon as things happen go wrong, he busts out on his family. Right. Because he ain't nobody told him how to, tolerance, patience. You understand me? Things ain't gonna always go right. Things to deal with a woman. You hear me? So everybody talk about what's real in here. You want to come out there and talk about that community? You got 3 generations on the corner. Mama, grandkids, now. They against you. You think that kid gonna listen to you? You got 3, the mama out there and the grandmama. So yeah, that's their life. Right. So talk about what's real.
That's real.
Hey,
do you think that? Go ahead, Tutu. Go ahead.
I appreciate everything you saying because at the end of the day, this is how I'm coming. I'm doing recon. I'm doing recon right now as we speak, and I promise you, I'm gonna be in there with you. I'm gonna be out there, and my goal, I told Horace a little while ago, I'm coming with faith, hope, and love. That's all we coming. We want to get the trust so that we can get some of this stuff fixed. Because we'll never get it fixed if we can't, like you say, I agree with you 100%. We got to get their trust. We got to get their trust. I agree with you 100% on that.
But
we coming.
I want to say something, man. What you're saying is very passionate, and it comes from a place of real, because you know about it. But we all from the hood in some aspect. So what I want to say is, it's real what you're saying. We got to get to their level, and we got to make them understand. But at the end of the day, I still don't want it sound almost as though that we getting critiqued or beat up because we kind of out of touch. But that's what we're here for now, so we can try to get back in touch. And I'm not going to apologize for nothing that I did not do before. because I know my heart has always been genuine. But what I want to say is, let's start now though, because we can sit up, say they got out of touch, 3 generations on the corner. That is factual. You know that. You can put your finger on it. You can put your hands on it. What I'm saying is, we all fellas in here took time out of our day to try to come up with solutions. So we in here to try to change that. But I do appreciate the aspect that you bring in it, because you ain't trying to hold nothing back, and that's how you always been. Man, you always showed me love. You are older fella than me. You was on the football team, me, but just in the hood, just with music and all. You always been Dickie boy. You always gonna be 100. Sometimes you come to shop, let us know what's on your heart, how you feel. I really appreciate it, because they really need men like us that ain't scared to talk to them. Need going to the street sugarcoating. Like you said, that with all this crime and they don't understand the value of life, they don't care about the value of life. They're not even thinking about conflict resolution. They're not thinking about problem solving, because they got in their mind, people don't like to hear this word, but that effeminization, when you don't have men figures in your life, you learn how to respond emotionally. The difference between a man and a woman is that the woman always responds emotionally. I don't care if she's a good woman and a Christian woman. To this day, you know she'll say things to you that you better not say back to her. The reason why you won't say it is not because you don't feel the same. It's because you understand that the results going to lead you down a path that you don't feel like going in. So usually what men provide is the fact that we're able to show you the consequences of your actions before you do it. That's what men usually provide. That's all we are. We supposed to be able to walk you through your decision making. But when you don't have that male figure in your mind or in your life, you always tend to resort to the things that you are used to. Most guys growing up, they're around women all the time, their mama. And their mama's emotional beings, they act emotional. Because ain't nowhere in the world you can explain to me why you going to get mad about a post somebody put on Facebook and you come shoot him and kill him when you know for a fact you ain't got no money to get yourself out the country. You going straight to prison when they find you, and they going to find you usually right away. So you ain't even thought about that past a moment of just saying, I'm finna go kill it. So if you got that in your mind, where the conflict resolution skills come from? You know what, man? You know what, that probably ain't worth that. I got a problem, but tomorrow I might not feel the same way. See, back in the days, you saw a person, you might have had a beef with somebody in Hammond, but you ain't seen him no more for 2 months. By the time them 2 months pass, you might not be mad no more. Now it's instant. Well, you know, some people might hold it, but for the most part, you ain't really as mad as you was the first day. But what's happening with people now, they posting instantly, and they being able to respond to them instantly, and they getting locations on them instantly while they emotional, and they acting on it emotionally. So what I'm saying is, you hitting at it real hard, I ain't gonna lie, but it's real what you're saying. So I ain't finna discredit none of that, because that's what we're trying to get to. Ain't no need in us trying to pretend that everything gonna be fine if we don't get out there and get our hands in it. We gotta get our hands in it, Arthur, but that's what we're here for. But we don't wanna, ain't nobody here responsible by themselves. It's a community thing. But it's also take community to try to get us on the right track. Right. Some people you're gonna be able to save, some you're not. But what we're gonna do is we're not gonna be the ones that's inactive. And that's what I want to kind of get out there to back up what you're talking about. Mike, you got something, and then we're gonna move the program on.
Coming from a real spot though, Arthur, I mean, you speak with what we call emotional intelligence.
That's right.
Seriously. And basically, you were speaking from a position of credibility, position of power, being in a situation or being in a place where some of us may have not been or privy to. So you do see things at a deeper level. But at the same time, to achieve some of the things that you just outlined, you still have to have people in a place to speak to get that money or resources where you need it to be. So hence, not making it a political thing, but we have to have the right people in place. So if you're running a business and you're a businessman, you own the company, that means you want to have you a vice president. It depends on how you structure your company, right? So in our community, how do we want to structure our community? To get the resources back to where they need to be, to your point. We're not making it, or it's never been about a political thing, it's about the right thing. Mm-hmm. How can we have the right resources, the right pieces, playing checkers and chess? That's right. Which one are we doing? That's right. Because if we're playing checkers, then, we all over the board. But if we're playing chess, it's a strategic thought with emotional intelligence to comprehend, to say we got to have the right pieces to make the right move, and when it's over, it's checkmate.
That's real.
Right or wrong.
That's real.
So to address what you just said, we get that, we feel that. In speaking to you or listening to you speak, it's probably the same feedback we're gonna get.
Right, correct.
If you had another kid coming here off the street.
That's right. That's right.
With that same pain, that same passion, that same hurt, whatever, but we can't get the counselor that we need that's qualified to talk or be open with understanding and get the necessary feedback and the patience.
That's right.
To listen to what that young lady, kid, family, or whatever. Then on top of that, to get the resources in place for further education and training, how to help you get a job, type of resume, open up or help somebody start a business, how to get a small business loan, keeping the money in the community.
Right.
You're talking about we spend $1.1 trillion. That's 16th, like ranked 16th in the world in the gross domestic
the GDP.
You know what I'm saying? What we spend as a race of people here in the United States, 1.1 trillion. 7% of the business owned in the United States owned by blacks. 7%. We 13% of the population, and we spend $1.1 trillion. A dollar stays in our neighborhood less than 6 hours.
Right.
In the Asian community, it stays in that community 120 times longer. In the white community, need we say, less than 0.5% owns the world wealth, and we probably can drill it down as a little less than that. So where you think the money's at with that? So to the point, back to you, I agree, I hear you, but again, we have to keep that money back to the point in our communities, keep it revolving, support black businesses, get more black businesses, give those kids those jobs, and if they got great ideas, guess what? Give them a place to foster that.
People don't even care about the money. I care about the pain.
Right.
People
So we need to get people, we need to find, and we need to organize and structure it like a business.
All right. Now hold on, Arthur. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Now, before we just be getting too carried off, because I don't want it to be debating. We ain't debating. We talking, and we just trying to be real. And I ain't lying. I wouldn't want y'all to be here if y'all weren't gonna be real. It's real talk. But we gonna get to some of that stuff at the end. But I want to redirect the conversation. Y'all pretty much done agreed that we're gonna have to have some kind of organization. Y'all pretty much done said that in so many words. Okay, so in doing something like that, this is a quick answer. It doesn't have to be expounded on long. I just want some 1 or 2 word answers for this one. This is easy. What's the biggest hindrance or hurdle you think we may face as we try to launch or get this kind of organization off the ground? Real quick, it's running around the room right quick. If something what we're trying to do, you realize that we're going to have to get in deep. We're going to have to do stuff. We're going to have to be there more than once in a year. So it's going to have to be weekly. What do you think the biggest hindrance we may face or the biggest hurdle we may face as we try to get this organization or this program off the ground? Run that quick. No need to be no long, drawn out thing. Just give it to me. What you think may be the biggest hang up that we may face as we try to get something like this off the ground?
From the start, it's going to be getting the people involved.
People involved? Communities, that's what you was gonna say?
Yeah. Ourselves has been coming together.
Just come
in infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Getting everything together and working as one.
I agree with what the guys are saying, just being consistent and being prepared to run the outlash or anything coming against us to make us not be unified or not be on the same page.
I hear you. Pastor, keep coming on around. Anybody got something to say? Yo, quick answer.
I would agree with them, but I'll say the biggest hurdle we're going to have is putting our own egos aside.
I hear you. Our own
Willing
ego.
to accept each other's opinion, even though I might not like your idea, but let's go with Horace's idea.
I got you. Bring it. Go ahead, Arthur. You go ahead and just keep coming on around this way. Quick answer.
Respect and understand the person individuality.
Real talk, man. That's great. Mike?
Oh, seeing it through. Commitment to
and move, and take it as for our strength, to move forward.
Form a plan, and flat out execute. Form a plan and flat out execute. That's it.
Next question. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being not supportive at all and 10 being very supportive, how do you feel parental support for this program will be?
Want me to start?
Oh, y'all want me to say? Let me ask it again. This is the next question. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being not supportive at all and 10 being very supportive, how do you feel parental support for this program will be? Rank it, a number.
Which way you want to go?
Start right here with Quentin.
I would say starting off, that would be about 5%.
All right,
5.
A 5. So half.
You being
50.
nice.
All right, keep going. Go ahead.
Nice.
I'm gonna say about 4 to 3. 4 to 3.
I tell you what, you got to make it what you want it to be. So you got to start with, I'm gonna say maybe 3%. But like I say, you get that 3% in here, they'll get another 3% in here, and we keep it moving from there. You just got to get in the parents' head to let them know. You got to keep it real and start at home.
So when you really say 3%, you really saying 3. On a scale from 1 to 10, you really saying about 30%. 3 out of 10. I got you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Don't try to jump in and
On the bell curve in there and all the other stuff I know, mathematics. Man, I'm gonna give you a hot 2%. Hot 2. That's just out of respect for some people.
That's what I'm saying. I get 3.
I'll give you a hot 2.
Especially if they got kids, they try to keep them straight.
You know, from parents.
You on 0?
You said 0?
0.
Kids are homeless out there, and nobody even talking about it. Cause they scared to tell you my mama ain't got no house. They scared that they don't want to tell you that they ain't got no bed to sleep in. They don't know where they gonna get their meal at. So that's cause you feel me? They don't want to let nobody know that. Don't talk about the homes. How many houses over there? But look how many people out there where they live, where they sleep on somebody's sofa, somebody's floor.
that means something to me. Like I'm not in prison when I'm at a public park. So we can try to take that down because some people look at that as something different. Like why is there ain't no barbed wires at the park on Duncan Avenue or the parks and things.
Have to prepare for this world that we're living in. That's pretty much it with me right now. Right now, I'm just getting to the point. If my dad was still alive, he'd say my light would came on. So we just, at the end of the day,
Two out of every 10 kids, parents are there to support them. Yeah. So I'm gonna give a solid 2.
Okay. Next question. Oh, you had. Oh, go ahead, pal. I mean,
man. I'm gonna give it a 4. I feel like this. I feel like Amite is a situation now that I've never been in before. And I say with the right leadership here, I think that we can work towards getting more parents. I know when I coached baseball, it was a lot more participation out of the parents. And if we take that same enthusiasm as we did before, and with the right leadership in our city, I'll give it a 4.
And I'm gonna chime in on it and real quick. I think I'm kind of closer to what Vernon said, and for the most part because of what's really going on. Because I know people know if they thought we can get around it, I know they know we can't now. I know we've been preaching, trying to get involved for years, but I believe that a good bit of them will be a little more receptive than they normally would, because they see that it's touching our community close. It's one thing to hear about somebody that you kind of saw before, and a whole other thing to know about a kid that you actually saw yesterday. And that's exactly what it was like when I saw Tyke Friday, and on Sunday he was gone. I mean, I talked to this boy for 2 years straight. Every time he got in my chair, it wasn't just no haircut. I talked to him about life every time. He always was mild mannered, and it seemed like he's understanding, and he would seem to be in agreement with me. And he would report back to me when he's doing something positive, like when he got a job. He even said that Friday that he had just got a new car, Malibu. I told him I had to come check it out. I asked him, was he staying out of trouble? He said, yes, I am. Thing is, like Tutu said, it's when they get around you and one or two little positive guys that they look up to or respect, and then they got the rest of that week or the rest of them 2 weeks or the rest of the month to be around. Either if it's not positive, it's negative or at least neutral. But positive influences is what's needed, and I think that's what we're missing. So when he come to me, I do think he mean well. He mean everything he's saying right then. But I think whenever he leave out of your presence, that's when it kind of get different. So I'm going to go to the
what you want to hear.
yeah, I'm going to
show you what you
the
want
last
see.
question on this one, while we in this little segment. Real quick, why do you think other community programs in our area have failed in the past? It's real quick. Everybody can answer, or one or two people can answer, whatever.
Repeat that again, please.
Why do you think other programs in the past, when people have tried to do something, you know, I know Michelle Foster had did a little thing with the girls. I don't remember what it was called, but it was something positive influencing with the young women. Can't remember what it's called, but if anybody watching, they remember the name of her program. She had that for a while, and she was trying to be uplifting to all of her young women. Take them on trips, talk to them about etiquette, all the women things. Other guys have done programs just like that in the past. Why do you think some of them have been unsuccessful? Go ahead.
People tiring out. People tiring out.
That's
because I'm being honest with you. With the sports and the stuff we do, as far as extracurricular activities, if you don't have the support, you get tired.
Right.
It's like with baseball. Honestly, I want to quit every other week.
Right.
But I know if I quit, ain't nobody else gonna pick it up. I have Vernon. He out there helping me now. So it got some people coming. Right. That's why we're not gonna quit, because I see light. You know what I'm saying? So we have to have a relentless effort about everything we do. We can't. I mean, it can't be no, I'm gonna be here for a season, then I'm gone, because everything's starting to level back off.
Right.
You see, when things start to level back off, that's when it's at its most dangerous point.
Right.
You have to go ahead and get that steam that you need to push it to where it needs to go.
That's right. I do think people get tired. Anybody else got an answer on, just an idea of why you think other programs in the community have failed in the past, when people have tried to galvanize community and do some of the things that we're trying to do now?
Because as a culture, our first defense is not to support one another.
Yes.
And some of us won't put our personal feelings aside to support someone.
What's up, man?
For whatever reason it may be,
Hold on, man.
whether they like them or not,
Hold on 1 second, Rob.
whether they trust them or not, you know, whether they in the clique. Everybody have their little cliques.
Right.
And if you're not in that clique, you don't get that support.
Right.
So, just like with this, everybody here has a different group of people they deal with.
Right.
In order for us to be successful, we have to go to our individual groups and bring them into this.
Right.
Because they're not going to want to help from the outside.
Right.
Because I'm in here. They're going to want to be like, well, you know, I might not like Tutu.
Right.
But we got to bring them in here and feel like, you know what, look, all this is for one cause.
That's right.
Whatever personal feelings we have, personal dealings we've had, put it aside.
That's
this
right.
is for the kids.
That's right.
We've lost three, 4 generations now that we've lost.
Right.
So in order for us to get that back, we have to all put our personal differences aside and look at the bigger goal, which is these children and some of y'all grandchildren.
You said it earlier. You don't have to agree on every little small detail to be behind one common goal. And that's where we be getting hung up on details, and we'll kind of go away from the entire goal. Details is details. We can work on details, but the goal got to be the same. Exactly. You know, we all got, like they use an example. Basketball got 5 positions, but they still shooting at the same basket. All of them got a role to play. We ain't gonna agree on exactly how to get there, but we can talk about that. Correct. But we still gotta try, and we still gotta push forward. I'm gonna let Robert Jackson get a little second in. He wanted to chime in right quick. Go ahead, Robert. They hear you.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Back on what these boys saying, man. Boys, instead of pain free, I realize a lot of them kids stuck in some problems for themselves. The main thing is not having something to eat, not knowing what will be in your household. We have a lot of abandoned buildings, turn them to community gardens or something. That's a small start. That's how you start building up trust. If you stay in the survival mode, you're not thinking about nothing.
That's it.
That's right.
That's real. That's real. I appreciate that, man. And that's real. Like he said, that's your core necessity to get by to the next day. You know what I'm saying? So by any means, sometimes. And if you're hungry, you're hungry. You know what I'm saying? So I understand if you say you can't get to some of them other things when your stomach hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Let me interject that. Okay, some things we just can't take. We can't take land.
Right.
You just can't take abandoned houses.
Right.
A lot of these houses, trust me, we've torn down a few, but it costs the city anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 per house to be torn down. Okay, once we tear that house down, there's a lien that goes against the house to the lien owner. Normally, it's a generation of family that owns that. So if no one comes and redeem that and pays that, the city loses that. Okay, you cannot. I ain't won't say that, but we don't own a lot of the property that's abandoned. So we can't just clean it up, and we don't have the funds to go in and clean up every piece of property that's blighted.
We got to.
And there's a bunch of them. Like I say, between $3,000 to $5,000 per home is what it costs the city to tear a house down, clean a lot down, to get it feasible. And then you still can't go if it's ties to it. We tore down two West Martin Luther King, right next to Booty now. That's $10,000 right there. We sat down. So nobody in the family want none of that property.
So what can you do with the property?
The town can't do nothing because it's not ours.
If they not paying the taxes on it, that's when the people coming into the community and they getting it for little or nothing.
Okay.
So we can get together as one, and we can start
Mike,
putting our money
Mike.
together, and we go buy it ourselves, and everybody name be on this list.
Right, you right.
Well, no, not everybody. You can make an LLC.
Right.
You can make an LLC. There's a site called Civic Source. Civic Source sells all abided property, belated property, tax liens. You can buy it outright. I bought some. You buy the property, whatever it costs, you come up to the parish government, you get the deeds to the property. We all need to go civicsource.com. Punch in Tangible Parish, it shows you all kind of blighted properties, tax liens properties. You purchase that property, it becomes yours. It's free to the public. There's no annual fee. There's no yearly fee. Once you pay it, there's a starting bid on it. You bid on it. I think they're gonna tell you when to bid. It costs, if you're the first person to bid on it, I'm gonna tell you how the whole process works. You have to put a deposit for $850. Okay, the $850 is refundable if you do not get the property. If you're not the highest bidder, you get that money back. If you are the highest bidder, it goes towards your purchase. It's totally illegal. It's totally legal. Legal. All paperwork goes through the parish government. Anything, if the property bidded at $6,000 and it's $7,500, anything over the $6,000, the parish gets the other $1,500. If you have any questions, there's me, there's Derek Taylor, there's Jazz Foster, there's all of us have been purchasing property. A lot of y'all wondering how I'm buying property. There you go, Civic Source. $4,000-$5,000 a lot. It's how you get these properties from people not paying their back taxes, got liens on them. The parish got away with doing it, as they say, under the steps. So now they hire a company from New Orleans that comes in and do it. They put a sign out there. The sign tells you the property name, the number, and all that. When you go to that website, you punch that number in. It's going to tell you what's the starting bid. It's going to tell you the day the bidding starts on. It's going to tell you the time it ends on. If you're the highest bidder, they're going to reach out to you the next day. Call you and tell you, okay, Mr. Johnson, you're the highest bid on that. How do you plan on making payment arrangements?
That's important information.
Okay, once you do that, they're going to tell you, okay, well, you got 3 days to have payment to us. Via check account, bring it to them, however. Once that, they're going to give you a date. They're going to say, okay, you need to go to the parish government building July 3rd. You're going to meet with a Jeff McNeil and 2 others. They're going to set you down at a table. They're going to have the deeds to the property. They're going to sign over. You're going to sign. You take that deed to the clerk's office. You put that property in your name. That day, that property is yours. You can do whatever you want to do with it. You can sell it to fire. You can sell it. Whatever you want to do to it, it's yours. It's called Civic Source. CIVICSOURCE.com. Punch in Tangipahoa Parish, and it's all kind of properties right here.
See, like they say, Amite is the seat for the parish. All right, got the mayor right here, title, councilman. Y'all don't know. Y'all, I'm gonna say y'all know. All right, you got census to tell you how many people in that section over there, that neighborhood. If they took up the time and do the census, and tell you the crime rate that's over there. People that's going to jail, they know it's up at the courthouse. They got grants that they give grants, dude, for cities, for places that people need help. That's our money, just what the law says. You do the grant, you go to crime, do the census and everything. We need help over there. We got the mayor here, we got the councilman, they vote on it. We can get any land up here. We can get it. Like I said, Chris, we can get a grant to say we need some help. We can buy things. We can put some things somewhere because Amite City.
Correct, but stop.
I know this. Our law, they got to give it to us.
No, the census. If we all fill the census out as we're supposed to, we don't. Hold on.
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying let them know that's important.
No, say everything though. We, as African Americans, do not fill the census out accordingly.
That's
right now, Tangipahoa Parish. You know the percentage we're in? 33% of this whole parish has only filled them out. I think Amite is like 16%. Hold on. 16% of us in Amite City right now has filled their census out. You made a statement earlier that we don't want nothing that requires us reading or someone telling us to do it. That's what we're lacking. The funds are available. I agree with you 1,000%.
That's right.
If we do what's required.
That's right.
The census is required. We can't go there. Me and the mayor can't go to Washington and say we got 5 million people here. When the census show, we only got 100,000.
That's right.
So all I'm saying is, let's get the census right, and then you're right. We will go wherever we have to go to get funds here.
That's right.
See, you know, some of the people, they think that they're filling out this census. They come to their house and
yes. See,
we got to get that out of
their
mind.
And I agree.
I don't want them to come to my house. They look free. I owe child support. You know,
they're gonna cut my stamp and everything else.
They just want to know how many people in the house. They ain't asking for individual names.
You go.
They want to ask how many people in the house.
Hey, y'all, hold on. Y'all, look. Let's get it back.
All right.
All that's good stuff, though.
Yes.
All that's good stuff. Let Derek say what he needs to say, and then we're going to get to that last part of the show where we're going to be talking about suggestions and solutions so we can let everybody get on back to what they got to do with it.
Yeah, because I want to touch on what Chris was talking about with tax. You know, a lot of people in the community ask me about how you purchase property, you know, that people ain't paid land on, that they ain't been paying their taxes, you know, so that's, you know, a solution that gave people a lot of answers right there.
People have that kind of money in their pocket sometimes.
Then I want to speak on some things that I've been doing, you know, since I was like 19. You know, I've been little kids. You know, you gotta, like me, I take them money out of my pocket. You know, they want to get in the place, I'll take off work, no matter if I got it mandatory to be there or not. I'm gonna go help that child, go put money in his pocket, go get him a toy card, show him how to get our OSHA card. You know, then I'm gonna take off time if I have to quit my job just to help him to get a job, to show him what to do, the process, get to the office. That's what I do, just to help them, you know, understand, like teach them and make them understand this is what you gotta do, this is sacrifices you gotta make to live this type of life. You wanna get away from what you're doing. That you know, the census, a lot of people gotta make people understand. That's why I said we can tell, we can teach, we can preach all we want, but if they don't understand the importance of the census, they ain't gonna do it. So that was a good, you know, topic to touch on about the census. Though you gave them a time, you know, some people who watching the show, now they understand the importance of it. So now they probably go fill it out. But they ain't understand, like, I just got this in the mail, and now understanding what it's really about.
I just got one. I got a text. Okay, tax liens will stay until the property is sold. Then the town will get their money back. Okay. So we only get our money back once this property is sold, which I thought I said that, but once, then we'll accumulate whatever we spent to tear down.
What's the question? Go ahead, bro. What was the question again? Oh, the original question was, why do you think other community programs in our area have failed in the past?
I think the reason why we have failed is because we're uneducated. We don't know.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have the information that we need to make the decisions we need. And then I think the other two core things for me is that a lot of people why it hasn't made it because they don't have no standards and morals.
Yes.
So that's a lot of it for me.
I got you. We better get to this very end, but we got to. Because it's been a good minute. And I appreciate it though. And I ain't gonna, you'd have been a fool if you thought it was gonna be an hour show. But we got to get to the end.
I like to
hold on, wait. I know it's still
eat.
But
put them on the spot.
we got to wrap it up though.
Yes,
and then what we're gonna do after this, we're gonna make sure that we don't have this ain't that last time we're gonna meet. We gotta have to do something following up. But let me get to the end of it though. This last segment, we want to talk about suggestions and solutions. We kind of been mentioning some in between, so to make it quicker, I just want each one of you guys to just give one suggestion or solution. I'm gonna give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm gonna just read some that I wrote down so you'll have something where you can go off of. This is what I feel, y'all. We done touched on it already. We said a lot about we can't just really do something where we just in and out. It's got to be some consistency, commitment. So I had written down before the meeting that we needed a facility that we can have our kind of center, not the community center, something that we can have kids be able to know that they're welcome to come, and we need to be able to do it at least once a week. The reason why I say once a week is just tough for people to commit more than that. But if you do once a week and it's coordinated, then it don't hurt one person because you always got different people on the schedule when it's their time, and they know this months in advance because you got. Just say you had 50 men that say I'm dedicating something to it. Well, you ain't got but 4 weeks in a month. Sometimes 5, but most times 4. You get through the end of the year, man, and you probably had to do but be present at one time. So it's not hard if you organize it. And the biggest thing that's gonna help us do it is by being organized and having a schedule where you know, hey, you know what? I don't really gotta be there, but to July 4th. But on July 4th, not July 4th, July 15th or something. That's my day to speak. We gonna have, and this is how I kind of had it in my mind. This is not an end all be all. Ideas are welcome, but I had an idea to make it realistic and tangible. You know, weekends is tough. People got all kinds of stuff on the weekend. So I'm just gonna give you in my mind, probably one of them weekdays. I'm just gonna say Wednesday. It don't have to be Wednesday. It's in the evening time. It's after school. About an hour and a half to 2 hours. Can't be more than that because you just ain't gonna be able to take away from your own family too much longer, and then at the end of the day, that attention span, you got to keep them there. But in that time, it needs to not only be about fellowshipping and feeding them, because that's a part of it. You want to feed them every time they come, but you also want life lessons. And when I say life lessons, that means every time they come, they're getting somebody else talking about something else in another walk of life that they may not be familiar with. So example, so just say we had teenagers today, 15 to 18, that's who we got mostly in the building today. Well, you want to start talking to them about credit. And don't let that be something they learn when they're 25. They got to fix their credit. So maybe we got us a credit person coming in, somebody that knows about credit and how to get your credit established. Come in early so when they leave high school at 19, 20, they already got that out the way. Most of us got our name used and all kind of stuff way before we had a chance to fix it. Not me, and not everybody, but a lot of people did. So credit. So maybe you got somebody coming in talking about financial advice. They got about 15 to 30 minute slot, and then the rest of it is the fellowshipping question that they have, getting involved with them. Like, what's up with you today, man? What's going on? How's school? So you got to give them the life lesson, the reason to come. And then after the 30 minutes or the 15 minutes or whatever the life lesson, you might have an assistant warden of the prison come, speak on his side, what he see. You might have somebody like Lynn Francois come, speak. You might have entrepreneurs one day, they come. You might have teachers come. You might have lawyers come. So mix that up. That got to be mixed up. We can reach out. We all know people. We got computer tech people that can come in and get 15 to 30 minutes PowerPoint presentation, talk to the kids. After you do that by 30 minutes, stop talking, stop teaching. Let's get involved with them, talk to them, what's going on in your life for real. Check on them every blue moon. Assign yourself to a couple of kids that you just say, this me. I got him. I got her. And I'm going to check on this person. a couple of times, you know what I'm saying, on your own. That's just something, and nobody got to tell you to go. You tell them you at the school, because we're going to talk to the school on your behalf and say, we got a new program. It's called this. When we have men come to this school to see what these kids, allow them the privilege to walk in, check on them kids, and talk to them. They're going to let you have it because they want it. I'm telling you right now, they're going to let you have it. So a couple things I had wrote down. So just to give y'all a preference on it, I put get a facility. Talked to Mayor Walter Daniels early in the week. It's got a lot of buildings in here that's for lease. Maybe if we ain't to that point right now, we might use the things that we do have and then crawl and then before we walk. But the Young Men Association Bullocktown, we feel pretty confident that we'll be able to get there at least one day a week from Miss Bill Sopster. And I'm pretty sure if you tell her what's going on, she probably would. So I'm just gonna say that. Have each mentor or community leader commit to pay monthly dues. You gotta have money. It is what it is. Because if you want to incentivize some of these kids to do after 3 months of good behavior or whatever it is, it ain't gotta be just grades. Because some kids ain't gonna make great grades, but they're great kids. Field trip, whether it's going to the water park in Baton Rouge, going to Global Wildlife, but it's not just the fact that they're going on the trip, they're going with men who are not their family per se. Maybe, but most of us won't be, and that means, and that goes a long way when you somebody that says, I'm gonna take time out of my life, I have my own family, but you're important enough for me to kind of get involved. So I'm saying, I think those things are very important. So maybe you say, look into the prospect of having a Boys and Girls Club. There are ways to organize that and set it up. I kind of looked into it. You got to call during the weekdays to kind of see how you structure it and what it would take to have that. So as I ask this question, short and sweet, you can give me one or two if you want to, but this is the solution suggestion part of it, because we got to wrap the show up. So if you had any solutions or suggestions on what we do leaving this moment, when we leave out of this today, what are the next steps, or what are some of the things that you would like to see an organization like what we're trying to do have? So I'm gonna pass it around the room. I'm gonna start with Brother Mike, and we're gonna go that way all the way around. Pass him the microphone, somebody. We're getting ready to wrap it up soon.
For me, solution real quick, we talked about the extracurricular activities. So we have a lot of young men that like to go that play sports in town, football driven. There's a lot of guys around here play football at different levels that can actually, we could put on a football camp. Just 2 or 3 days. Talk about some of the things like Arthur had mentioned earlier. Get pizza, get the stuff, get the kids the necessary skill, fundamentals of what they need, and at the same time, when the parents come out, one of the things, in order for your kids to get the free coaching and come to the camp, they have to go through like a 30-minute seminar or something.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like coaching lesson type thing.
You know, so in order for you to come to the baseball camp, it's a 30-minute sign-up. It's kind of like when they get you on the cruise ship thing, right? Hey, you come to this seminar, get a free cruise.
That's right.
So with all the free resources that we have, time-wise, to be able to get a field, baseball camp, football, basketball camp, now you got that 1 parent, 2 parents, 3 parents, whoever. Now you have that opportunity to coordinate what you want to do from that standpoint.
So
and it's all through sports and activity that everybody can relate to. Everybody wants to push their kids towards.
So extracurricular activity. Pass it on. Pass it to Arthur. Come around this way. Suggestion, solution. 1 or 2.
Okay. Hold people accountable with these titles. We got a man that's governor. You know me? From here, he loves the city. Hold him accountable. You understand? I love my city. I show it. I'm here with him. We got the sheriff from my backyard. Hold him accountable. You understand me? Hold him accountable. He loves the city. People scared to say names. You know? We got a man from our city that could be president of this country. I know he can. Hold him accountable. How you if you gonna do you can hear, but your backyard is we're the people. Sorry. Hold them accountable. That's what I said. People with these titles, hold them accountable. I ain't sworn an oath to this. I ain't got there. I got a city that's bleeding and a neighborhood that's grieving. I'm out there in that pain and struggle with it. You know me? Going through it with them. So you hold these people accountable. You feel me? Make them say, we got the lady who over the youth, talking about the kids, she's the judge. She's from the backyard, they meet. She's a great person. Hold them accountable. Let's do something for these communities. Understand me? Hold them accountable.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Extend the gaps, like baseball. You know, just for the kids who just love to play baseball, try to get it just through the winter time, like a little tournament or something. Yeah, a little longer, just, you know, a little winter baseball team. Okay. You know, for the kids who don't that's not into sports activities at all, they like fashion or ballet or dancing. Yeah. You know, we got a lot of talented kids, you know, that, you know, good in everything besides sports. We try to get them active too, because you know they can't show their gift, but they can't.
They can't express it. Right. Solution suggestions, 1 or 2.
Okay, one, we need more skilled people to come and for those kids that are getting lost in the book system, in the education system. You know, get skilled people, 229. Build scaffolds upside down any kind of way you can figure. I have access to scaffolding. 10 foot of scaffolding, we can show it to the kid. If you got access to something like that, somebody might be a master carpenter. Bring some wood. Show them how to read the tape measure. We don't have none of that no more. And also, like to comment on what Derek said. As a town official, like Dick is saying, okay, we take responsibility. But for us to have a group or interfere with something or involved in something, there's only so much we can do as elected officials.
That's right.
But at the same time, if this group was to put a festival together, we would do everything we could within the law to make it feasible. When you came on at homecoming, everything you asked for, I told you what we could and what we couldn't do.
Correct.
That's the same with a festival. All the proceeds will come back to this organization. But now you have to have everything in order now.
Right.
This ain't no Jack Lake where you just come there and get a permit saying, well, we want to do this. No. If you got everything in order, we have people in City Hall that will give you the permit, that will tell you the steps you need to take.
Correct.
Whatever you charge the vendors, that's on you. The town gets none of that money. Let me make sure we're on the same page with this. The town receives none of that proceeds. Technically, we lose money to give a festival because we provide the police protection, we block the roads, we do the cleanup. That comes out of our general budget. So the town gets nothing but the sales tax that bring the business to Amite.
Right.
You know, I just want everybody to understand from a political aspect of this where me and the man I stand. We're willing to support anything we can, any way we can. But some things we cannot be on the forefront because we're in political office.
Correct. Gotcha.
You know, and there's a great area. But we'll back it up. If y'all come to us in time, don't come at when we got a meeting saying I need this tomorrow. No, it don't work that way. But if you plan it, I promise you, you have my word and the mayor's word. We will do everything we can legally do to assist in making sure it happens.
That's real. I know that.
You know, and that's what we want the community to understand. You know, we complain about the Oyster Festival. The Oyster Festival is a separate entity. None of that comes to the Amite City. The fair is a separate entity. They have fair boards. If this group decide to have a board and want to have a festival, we're here for that. We'll shut the street down the same way. We'll give you a parade the same way. We'll clean up the same way. But come with everything in order. And that's all I need. That's all I want to say.
Any suggestion, solution?
What they say? Yes.
Real talk.
I think that we need to look at nonprofit, and if we go nonprofit as soon as possible, I think there's money out there that we can get, like grants and other monies that are available to us, and I think that is going to be one of the best solutions that we can look forward to with our youth in this city.
Awesome. To me, man, I just think that solutions, suggestions is first of all, kind of piggybacking off what he said, when we leave here, we got to have something concrete that we're going to do after this. And then I think that we got to have a center that we could say is ours. I'm not saying ours meaning black. I mean, it's for all kids. But I'm talking about it got to be somewhere where people know, the kids know that they're going to have some interaction with some positive role models every week. And we not only do we want them there, we desire for them to be there. And if we have to go pick some of them up to bring them there, we want to be able to go pick some of them, bring them up, bring them there. And we just need parental support in us letting us do it. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of restrictions on you, but if we can get the parental support where they allow us to be the men and the women of the community that's trying to foster positive behavior from the children, then I think we can go a long ways. But you got to trust us. That's the word I heard a lot today about trust. So hopefully we'll be able to establish that trust and we'll be able to do some positive things in the future. Moving on. Any suggestions? Solutions?
I suggest like everybody else, there has got to be some positive reinforcement, something that we have to have in place to I'm really, my heart is with Dickie and the state of the neighborhood. We have got to put something in place to where we can start winning the hearts of the neighborhood, because I feel like there shouldn't be a kid over there being molested and afraid to tell somebody. There shouldn't be somebody over there hungry. And I remember when I was a kid, we can go to anybody's house and eat. I feel like, as men, as leaders of the community, there are some things that we need to put in place almost immediately. I'm not saying rush and mess up, but I'm saying we have to make haste. We have to make haste. We have to do it, and like the brother said, we have to be decent and in order with it.
Right now,
going around, any suggestions, solutions?
I think one suggestion is we start supporting the ministry, the street ministry, and I don't think hot dogs and chips would kill us right now.
Right.
I mean, you talking about it's what, 10 of us, if everybody put $5,
That's right.
you know how many kids you could feed with hot dogs and water. Food Depot got water, 4 cases for $10. I personally buy the 4 cases myself.
We actually, last week we actually gave Friday. We gave hot dogs and chips, and people came.
I didn't know that.
And we did that. So that's one of the things we're gonna keep doing. We're gonna be
do it every week
in the neighborhood over on Pine Street. We're inviting all the ministers, teachers, preachers, whatever you are. If you can give a positive word or make a positive impact, come on.
free car wash, free car wash, free car wash, free food. You understand me? People, everybody donate. Would you like to make a contribution?
I know one thing for sure, that once we do get started, it's got so many layers to it. One show won't be able to get it all out, but we'll be able to kind of talk about them later. But one aspect is to also teach community by dedicating, whether it's once a month or once quarterly, where you get with those kids in their own community and you say, this Saturday for 3 hours, we coming with y'all, we finna go clean up some streets in y'all neighborhood. Out there with them, shirts on, trash bags, let them see that y'all out there with them. Feed them when you get done and move on, and then the next quarter or the next couple of months you do that in another one of them kids' neighborhood. So then once they start seeing somebody that don't even live over here anymore, care about my street, maybe they'll go a long way with them. So that's just, it's a lot of things, man. It's so much, it's so big and so heavy. Go ahead.
And one more thing, I really, when he was telling me, he said, and I registered because I saw it with my own eyes. We have high school students out there with AR-15s.
Right.
We have high school students out there with AR-15s. I saw 2 of them that just graduated high school, man. And I was looking, and they were sneaking it to the car. The mama was around here. One of them distracted the mom, and the other brought it out. And before I can get over there, they had took off. Because I was going to tell them, man, if you got to leave the house with that, you don't need to leave at all. So at the end of the day, man, that's something it's scary. It's scary to think. It's scary to think about. I know these young men. They both of these young men just marched over here on this field. They just marched over here on this field. And when I see him, I'm gonna get to him. Man, you gotta leave the house with this here. You don't need to leave, because at what point do you need to leave with an assault rifle? It just don't make sense.
What I was gonna do, for the sake of time, it wasn't wasted. But for the sake of time, we're gonna conclude the show, and if we still got some little things that we want to talk about, y'all welcome to keep talking. But for us to say, some people do have to go, some don't, and that's fine. But I'm good. But I'm just saying, for some of the others, it's been a wonderful conversation, man, and it's much needed, but it can't be the end, and it can't be the last one, and I know it won't be. I promise you, it's not gonna be. We gonna
set a date before we leave.
No, we gonna set a date. Hey, listen. Go ahead before we get off here. Okay. I'm gonna let both of y'all say one last thing, then I'm gonna wrap it up.
I don't want to put this past because we have, like we said, we got a lot of brothers and young men out here that have a passion for this. You know what we're doing right now. And I just want to put out last week I had a meeting with Charles Griffin. You know, he's putting this out. So I want to just put this out on here because he's focused on the same thing we're doing right now.
Right.
So I talked with him. We had about 5 or 6 of us men out there. We had a good conversation out there. On the same stuff we talk about now, but we talking about getting these guns out of these young men and mentoring them to move on. So,
before they start grabbing them guns.
Right. And so
gotta get them before they want to.
They're already clutching now.
So we hear this, we can all come together. You know, just let him. You know, for y'all to know he's doing the same thing. Just want to put it out here on this thing too. So when we come out, you know, we all can come together.
All right.
I just want to tell my neighborhood and my city, I feel your pain. They grieve. Right now, they need some compassion. They grieve. They clutching. You know what I mean? They want things to happen. They want something to happen. Cause too many from other places they come in sniffing lights out of them. So they want to do something. They grieve it. I mean, do something real soon. You understand me? Bring unity.
We don't waste no time, man.
Just do something real soon to just touch these people. Before, you understand me? Because I ain't trying to tell them I get those guns out their hand and put them in no prison.
No, it's not like that. We just trying to put some knowledge.
Yeah, so because that's the other, you know, they hustle.
With knowledge.
Yes,
they
grieve.
So, fellas, man, it's been awesome, man, for all of you guys who were able to be here. Like, it was a great turnout, man. Great ideas, great suggestions throughout the program. But again, like I said, we don't want this for no form or fashion. It wasn't just no program, no show, just to have a show. This was for real answers, real solutions, real ideas, so that we're able to implement them. And then the key word that they always say in football, you got to execute. You know what I'm saying? You can't just know the play, you got to execute. So, man, without further ado, you remember it's not about being liked. It's not even about how people feel. As long as you make sure that whatever you say, you bring passion, you show respect, but most importantly, you keep it real. And that's real talk, town hall, community discussion. Thank you guys for tuning in live. Thank you guys for all the comments and questions. We couldn't get to all of them, but if you'll do us a great favor and tag and share this video to y'all's page. Thank you, thank you, thank you.